Your friend's in Newton Blades. So's half of Miami. So what?
What's this guy need? Birth certificates?
Frank. This is Valerie. You two know each other?
No. I wish we did.
Not very persistent, are you?
You guys are way out of line. You're using strong-arm tactics, illegal seizure. You're out of control.
And you've risked compromising the whole operation just by contacting us.
A man who really wanted to impress me probably would have brought flowers.
My God.
Whatever happened to hello, Margaret? It's nice to see you.
Where is it?
We are the entire free world. When we sneeze, everybody catches cold.
I want to know why murder and mayhem are suddenly footnotes on a balance sheet.
Look, all you need to know is that you're just along for the ride. It's a big boat. Why rock it?
Phil, you forgot to mention it on the air, but I was ahead on points, so I get to come back next week as the returning champion and take a shot at the bonus round.
No, the reason I didn't mention it, Stanley, my son, is because we've been canceled.
What?
I can either blow you all away and just drive this caddy back to Moscow, or you can come out on your own. They won't hurt the woman or the boy. No one let them. Besides, they make a better example alive in Russia than dead in Miami, right?
Surf's up, pal.
What's the charge?
Pick one, buddy. Resisting arrest, reckless driving, or rape.
Rape.
You would never leave me alone.
I've come to give you what you want.
Bigger surprise. There's a guy, his name is Burnett. I found out that Burnett and Crockett are the same guy. Who do you think you're taking? You got nothing on me.
He's right. We can't take him in.
No, but we can throw him in. Time for a swim, pal. What took you so long?
I hope you don't mind. I'm burning up.
Don't worry. I'm immune.
I just can't. I just can't ask you to get involved in this.
Oh, I'm already involved.
Who the hell are you?
Charlie, don't! Charlie, don't hurt him! No! Don't shoot him in the face.
So, we meet again. You got something for me?
Miami Vice, 1968, there's 79. Said he was a good cop, medals, commendations. Partner.
American rocks in the hot sun. I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Wingo used to retail lots of our Caro product in the old days. Disappeared pretty much after. Gee. I don't really remember when. Do you?
He disappeared after our Caro disappeared.
Right, that's right. Right.
Freeze!
Tired of waiting. Took it myself. Spilled it all. It's in here.
Now the sun's gone to hell.
There's no one here, Hank.
It's right there.
Now start, Tony, you're not getting away this time. Fucking!
You knew he killed our Caro.
I helped him build the wall.
He was my partner. You understand? You understand? Yeah.
You stay away from those Fifth Street winos. I'm the jealous type.
You, sir, are a gentleman.
Don't tell anybody, you'll ruin my reputation.
Hey, this isn't work. Hey, thanks anyway. Come on, baby. You come here with me.
Excuse me.
Back off.
Hey, stop it! Stop it, cat!
That nut.
You're a regular John Wayne.
I don't sit on my fat rump all day like you Alpha Hotels.
Hey, if you two have a problem here, can we deal with it on your own time? Now, I like to just get through all this schoolyard crap, cut through it, and just tell me.
You're right. I shouldn't be talking to Crockett anyway. You're the one who kept me.
This is bull. For you to sit there and tell us what we should or shouldn't do in a dark alley in the middle of the night with a guy trying to shove bullets up our nose.
Hold it, Crockett.
What she did was right. So if you want to file formal charges, then do it. Because when it comes to what is and what isn't, you don't know squat. Sure enough.
Miami Vice, you're under arrest. Turn around and put your hands on the bar.
You're a cop.
I will shoot you. Don't do it.
Sue me out. I'm gonna take care of you right now.
You're busted, pal. Get out!
You used me. I've never known you, have I?
What do you think I have? Switch in my head, I can just turn on or off? You took me to that party and you threw it up in my face.
I brought you, not this damn police force, not your damn badge.
I'm a cop. It's not what I do, it's what I am.
You got no soul, no honor.
I want to show you something.
Goodbye, sister.
Lieutenant, she's moving. The girl's moving.
Harrison gave up my family, man.
And he'll pay. But not like this, buddy.
Harrison! I want to talk to you!
You killed my family, man.
Yeah, I know.
I hope he rots in hell.
Let's go.
Hello, you beautiful bastards, and welcome to my so-called show. And tonight, me and my guest will be talking the top 5 episodes of Miami Vice Season 2. I'm joined here by my regular and good friend, Lord of Toxicity. How you doing, man?
What up, man? How are you doing? Thank you for that long introduction. I was able to get a nap in.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get short, but there were just so many clips I didn't want to spare them, and I still haven't done it justice with those the clips I have got. I really wanted to put more in, but still we can't have it going on too long. We have to move on with the show, but hey, I'm glad you enjoyed getting a nap while that clip was playing. So yeah, I'm also joined for the first time by Admiral Teag. How you doing, man? How you doing?
Hello, welcome. Thank you for having me. No, I was muted, which is the better part of valor, right? Thank you for having me. It's a thrill to be here, and thanks for this amazing assignment where I got to sort of relive the last bit of high school there and sort of see my city through the eyes of a movie maker who really, those first 2 episodes, quite the love letter to New York. I'm looking forward to discussing this. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm also joined by Mr. E, who's always welcome. How are you doing, man?
Doing well. How you doing yourself?
Yeah, I know. I'm glad to have you on, and you showed me your notes on the episodes earlier. Man. You had a fucking lot, didn't you? I hope you managed to find 5, because I think finding 5 out of 10 was already hard enough since it's like 23 episodes. I'm guessing.
I'm gonna have a feeling that we're gonna all be saying just what they said.
Yeah, but yeah, and thank you very much. And I am joined by the Inside Man as well, who's always regular and always welcome. How you doing, man?
Very well. Evening all.
Yeah, no, because I don't think he was on the last one, was you? And I felt a bit bad that he couldn't make it. I know, but thankfully I'm glad to have you on here. And yeah, I hope you got your notes ready. Yeah, I've got mine ready, but knowing me, I'll probably wing it a little bit later, because that's very sadly how I do it. It's like a natural thing. I don't know why. So yeah, also joined by RT, who's always welcome and never really gets a chance to come on due to my schedule, but tonight he is here. How you doing, man? Mike's muted. Your mic's muted, mate. Is he on?
Sorry, I just said the cleverest thing that's ever been said, but I was muted. My God. I said, "Hey up, lad. How are they?"
I know, look, we all got all Miami Vice. Where's your avatar, mate? I've just sent you on Twitter. You're a little alien in a pastel soap, man. Do you want to use it? If you don't, no problem.
I'll have a look.
I know. Yeah, just try and do it later if you can.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, because sometimes the mechanics on different laptops or computers can be a pain in the ass. So, yeah, and thanks for joining us, you beautiful bastards, in the comments. I hope we don't bore you too much. Hello, Saving Star Trek. Hello, Box Office Brawler. Melvin Deeply. I'll try and see if I can invite you on next time. We've got a bit of a full house at the moment, but I'll try and get you in advance. Okay, so
Melvin.
I know, always welcome, man. I need to get you on another stream one day as well, because yeah, he was a good guest, man. He was a good guest. Yeah, just enjoying this nice Bureau Moretti. If I start getting monetized, hopefully I might get endorsements with this bastard. So top 5 episodes, Miami Vice Season 2, and this is where the series really started to hit its stride, and it would only get a little bit better from then on in until Season 4, where it would start to drop in quality, but still, it hasn't stopped this being a really fucking great show. It's despite its very 80s neon pastel look, it is very dark, it is very violent, and can be very nihilistic at times. And right now, as much as I'd love to praise every single fucking episode, sadly, it will take up way too much time, and we can only choose 5. So before we press on, I will explain how this works. These episodes do not have to be ranked, because there's always a chance where someone mentions one and everyone else will get to mention their views if they have the same episode on that list. And hopefully that's clear, not too confusing. And without wasting any more time, let's press on. So, top 5. My first pick is The Prodigal Son, which is the very first episode of the season 2 opener of a two-parter, I should say. And this is one where they got to track down a cartel, a load of drug dealers called the Rivieras, all the way to New York. And thanks to Gene Simmons, they managed to get there. And it really takes Crockett out of his element here because he's a beach cop and he's having to work in a gritty, big city with Tubbs, who's back to his old stomping ground. We get Penn Jillette as some kind of guy who sort of introduces him, and he's a very punchable arsehole, but he gets some very funny one-liners, and it's very epic. It's got this nice little noirish thing going on. It feels like Thief a little bit, but it's with Sonny and Crockett. And we've got Louis Griezmann on there, Pam Grier returns, James Russo from Beverly Hills Cop is on there as well. And it feels like a movie. It does, and I really like this one. And I really like how we start to see Tubbs is a little bit homesick as well on his old stomping ground. And we're also questioning if Pam Grier is maybe moved on to the other side now because she's kind of been disgraced, even though it was very understandable. And she's kind of got to redeem herself, but she's been thrown into the meat grinder by useless superiors. And I do like how Crockett and Tubbs kind of got to go rogue a little bit as well, since they aren't getting the help they needed. They actually commit an act of terrorist just to get the Rivieras to notice them, and I kind of like that. It's but it also shows just how much these people need each other as well, because because Tubbs, he has every chance to stay, and he doesn't. And when he runs to the airport to meet back up with Crockett, it's actually a bit of a tearjerker. And I love how the ending is, once they get back to Miami, it's all business as usual. But we also get probably one of the best guest appearances in this episode. Forgot to mention Melanie Griffin as well, who's this smoking hot con woman who's keeping tabs on Tubbs but she starts to redeem herself as well. And they do have some good chemistry since they were a couple in real life. But like I said, Julian Beck really is fucking creepy in this, and I'm pretty sure he was dying when he was going through chemo and everything when he did this episode, and it really helps him kind of convey this very sinister guy on screen, and he's basically the puppeteer while everyone else is the strings, a reality which is going to become more and more apparent as the show goes on. And yeah, that's my view on The Prodigal Son, a very good opener. And it lets you know that this episode is not going to hold back. The writers are really going to go all in and really go fucking hardcore with this shit. They aren't going to hold back. So yeah, anyone else got The Prodigal Son on their list?
Yeah, I got it on mine.
Yeah.
It's
number one on mine as well.
Yeah, it's a great opener. Yeah,
okay, so really. Anyone else who's low toxic, have you got it? Because I'm going to go around in circles here.
No, it's not on my top 5 of season 2. It's a great episode though. I mean, see, it's really hard to pick season 2 episodes, isn't it? Like you said in your opening, it's like the greatest. Like, oh, this one's really amazing. This one's really amazing. So you just wind up doing that. So I just kind of took which one was personally good for me myself. So
that's it. That's what this stream is all about. Personal. We don't need to have the ones that everyone else picks though. But it's kind of hard not to pick the ones that everyone else has picked as well, because there is a reason why people do pick them. Because So we'll go in order. I don't know if Admiral Teag has it already. I think you mentioned it earlier.
It's my number 1, but I didn't see Melanie Griffith in there. You talk about that Margaret girl that he runs into?
Yeah, is that Melanie Griffith? Let's have a look.
No, that's not. It's not
the
her.
Wrong actress. I got the wrong actress. Let's have a look.
She looks a bit like. I thought she was Sharon Stone for a few minutes there, but that's my number
Susan
1.
Hess. It was Susan.
There
Hess.
You go.
I apologize. Yeah.
Yeah, you threw me for a curve. They kind of are looking a little bit similar there. I guess that's why they leaned into it. I liked that this was basically a long video for, it was a good story, but also interwoven through it is this long video for You Belong to the Night by Don Johnson. Like, I think Barbara
Glenn Frey,
Streisand's
Glenn
people?
Frey, it was Glenn Frey.
Did Glenn Frey wrote it?
Yeah, I love that song as well. It actually does add a bit of a.
But I think Don sings it, right?
No, he sings it.
No, it's Glenn Frey.
Okay.
Yes,
There is
You
a
Belong
song
to
later that Don sings.
Yes, it's You Belong to the City, isn't it? The song, the Glenn Frey song. Yeah, I recall the song that he sings. Jesus Christ. It will come to me.
It was only about as good as the Patrick Swayze pop song, but it was okay. I think Barbara Streisand helped him write it.
You know, Eddie Murphy made a really funny joke in the 80s when his song came out that he did with Rick James. And I think he said something about it was either he sang it to Don Johnson or he was saying it to Patrick Swayze, where it was like, you know, when you're an actor and you're a celebrity, you get to do one hit wonder. So you only get one. That's all you're going to get. And that's about it. And he was right.
It's Michael Jackson on the chorus. He stacked the deck.
Yeah, Glenn Frey. I mean, he's one of these 80s stars that never seemed to become the biggest star. I mean, he did The Heat Is On. He did a couple of songs for Miami Vice, but he never got bigger than he should do. I think he's very underrated, this guy.
As a solo artist, yeah.
Yeah.
Destructive competition with the other Eagles. They're all going after each other and destroying one another's reputations. They sabotaged one another, except for Joe Walsh, who just goes back to America and starts drinking more.
Yeah, I was just about to say, wasn't he in a band at some point?
Yeah, some little band.
They do better than the members of Zeppelin.
I met Penn Jillette, by the way. He is gigantic. He's enormous.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's a big guy.
He's really tall.
Look at
6'7". He's huge.
Penn Jillette looks like Dark Hour with glasses.
He dated Deborah Harry.
Nice.
Lucky git as well. I mean, especially he must have like one of the worst 80s haircuts here as well. He's got that little frizzy little fringe springing up around him.
I think it's affectionately referred to as a Jew mullet.
Yeah, he's got they pulled it down and forward to make him look give him a different look. His usual had it like up and pompadourish. You can see it in the video for Tricky by Run DMC, because that's the crowd he sort of emerges with. He was a magician, obviously,
and a very good one too. I saw his show.
Yeah,
him and his sidekick
stuff as well. I mean, they're very funny as well. Penn Jillette.
Tell her
he has lost a lot of weight. And is it me or does he look weirder since he lost weight though?
He looks a little desiccated.
Yeah, everyone that you see as heavy when you first see them and you see them lose weight will always look weird to you. It's
like Jonah Hill.
Like Jonah Hill, yeah, like Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
God, he's weird looking now.
Or yeah, well.
He wasn't coming from the best looking place, but yeah.
Yeah, because he got too large, didn't he, at a young age?
Yeah, poor guy. That and being mistaken for Seth Rogen will really give you trauma. His therapist must have to listen to a lot, huh?
Is it me or is he kind of coming back from the dark side on like Seth Rogen? I don't know. He seems to be coming a little bit more based towards women.
Sometimes it works with celebrities that lose a bunch of weight. Like I guess Lizzo has lost a bunch of weight, and so that
This is like a lifeboat dropping off the Titanic, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't say it. I can't say it did. I can't
Glad
say
you like that one, Inside Man.
Yeah, I can't say it did a lot of favors for Chadwick Boseman, but I mean, that's not Ozempic's fault.
Yeah, Trump Daddy, I'm standing in the executive order that Miami Vice is the greatest show from the 80s. I could
Trump Daddy, his building's in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bit
He's
of
right.
shameless promotion there.
Hello, John.
Yeah, John
the Beagle Dad.
Hey, I don't know who you are, but hey, thanks for joining us. Subscribe if you haven't already, and do the same for my guests if you haven't already.
Friend of mine.
John is a regular with Admiral Teag.
Oh, yeah, well, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, man. And I hope to see you a bit more on my streams as well.
This guy's cool. You should sub him, John.
Yeah. So, yeah, Melvin D.
That is I.
Hey, got to have you on again, man. Glad to have you on again. Okay, so we've had Admiral Teag mention Prodigal Son, and I think Inside Man did as well. Mr. E, is it on your list as well?
I've got a huge list, all 23 as far as I'm concerned, but this is kind of on my list. It's kind of the backup.
Oh boy.
Yeah, sorry about it.
You give a jarhead a mission that has to do with math, like 5 out of 22, and he starts screwing the whole thing up. Well, I got 20 is 20 is what I got.
Better to kill them all.
Oh, well, it's a plan anyway. At least you got a backup. But is it? If it's in your top 5, feel free to mention your views on this episode. If it's not, well, I'll move on to Inside Man. Who does?
No, I'm more or less covered. Son's Lover, tapping off the end of the season, so to speak.
Nice. Yeah, well, I've got that as well, but I will mention that later. So, Inside Man, yeah, your views on the Prodigal Son then?
Yeah, as I said, I think it's a terrific opening episode. I mean, if I'm honest with you, because obviously I saw this back in the day, was hooked from episode 1 of season 1. There was this thing, that you have the dodgy second album. I thought this was going to be a dodgy second season, but it's one of those that really did hit the ground running, and
agreed.
Give me anything with Pam Grier in it, and I'm there.
Yeah, she's good in this as well, and once again,
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
She does make you wonder if she might have gone to the other side a little bit.
Yeah,
but she redeems herself. I was kind of feel a bit sad as well when Tubbs kind of runs off on her at the end to go with Crockett.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, no, Crockett's my man, okay? He's the one for me.
Bros before hoes.
Yeah.
There's some mild overtones there,
yeah. It was the 80s. It was the 80s, man.
They were dressed like chicks, so, right? Especially Crockett. My God, that wardrobe.
Yeah, apparently he was not a big fan of it when he first saw it. I think got an interview. Let's see if we can get this up then. Where is it?
But what was amazing was that back in the day, sadly, and it shames me to say that me and a bunch of my friends, we'd actually go out on the pool on a Friday night, dressed just like this, and it worked.
Yeah. Let me speak for the entire listening audience by saying no one is shocked by that revelation there, sir.
It's not so much his clothes. He has like a decent collection of casual suits, but it's like he wears a suit with a grubby t-shirt and no nonsense Captain Castilla won't let anything go, except for the fact that Crockett doesn't shave, shower, bathe, or change his clothes.
Yeah.
But everyone else, he's calling them out left and right.
Yeah, plus
I still don't wear socks.
Yeah. We do find out later in season 4 that these clothes aren't even his. I mean, they're just from the Lost and Found, and he just wears it as part of his colour, doesn't he?
Nice.
He's got stolen drug dealer clothes.
Yeah.
Or whatever, appropriated drug dealer clothes and an appropriated drug dealer car.
Well, these clothes, I mean, I can say it now. You want me to wait and give you a trivia thing about why they wear the clothes that they wear? Or you want me to wait?
Well, apart from trying to sell more Armani shit, anyway, I'm guessing.
So a lot of these outfits that you see them wearing, it was kind of understood back in the day, back before Florida has become what it is now, open carry and all that kind of stuff. If you wanted to be undercover, if you were a police officer, something like that, you had to wear these kind of light colored, thin stuff in order to hide your firearm and, to a certain degree, hide your badge or radio or something like that. You had to wear a jacket of some kind. And if you're going to wear a jacket, you got to wear one, because it's like 100 degrees plus like 100% humidity down in South Florida. So, you got to wear these kind of light colored stuff with thin t-shirts and, it's just kind of loose and, no socks, that type of thing. So, I mean, it served a purpose other than aesthetic value.
Yeah. Because I think Don Johnson did mention that, he was kind of like a cowboy guy. He wore cowboy boots, but the more he spent time in Miami, the more he wanted to wear less socks and more looser clothes to sort of like cool himself down. And there is an interview here by, which he was not very keen on, and he's very funny. Let's get it up.
If he just had some better colors, some of those casual suits might have worked out, but all white all the time and you're a cop. His white terry cloth biker jacket was my favorite outfit.
Yeah, actually, our costume designer came back from Italy, and she had all of these new designers. Gianni Versace was relatively brand new then. I don't think he had one store. Neither did Giorgio Armani. And she came back, and she's handing out all of this stuff, and and I'm looking at it, and I'm going, these kind of look like pajamas. I mean,
You're kind of right.
Yeah. And so my style there of the t-shirt, no socks, no belt, was a function of how fucking hot it was in Miami. I mean, it wasn't really sort of thought out. It was just organic. I started just removing articles of clothing.
And the movie's called Cold in July.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must have spent time in England then.
The thing was, though, when in the 80s, as you said, you were setting this fashion of no socks.
Twat.
Yeah, we were copying it. You walking around in November, freezing. And those canvas, what are they called? Desperados or whatever they're called.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Stupid, and then balloon pants and jackets up there like that.
Yeah.
God, I spent a lot of my life looking like a dickhead because of you.
And he still does.
Very good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that's the thing, even if something's functional, it's going to set off a fucking trend. It's just one of those things, because he pulled it off. He could pull that shit off.
Yeah, and the good thing is every Friday night I got pulled off as well.
Nice.
You made all the other men happy.
Johnson was
Well
like
done.
the ultimate fucking sex symbol back in the 80s. So yeah, girls went for that kind of guy. He had the looks, he had the charisma, everything. He was cool. He was sharp.
Oh,
a lot of dead air.
What happened there?
Yeah, no, very quiet. So yeah. So you mentioned your views on Prodigal Son. RTNZ, is it on your list? If not,
No, it's not on my list. I mean, other than Pam Grier being gorgeous, Penn Jillette being massive, and lots of explosions, it's a good episode. I have no complaints about it, but it didn't make my top 5. I tried to pick a variety of episodes. I've got one that everyone will have, but I tried to spread it a bit wide. So I have nothing to add that the others have not covered very eloquently already.
Yeah. Because I know there probably is better episodes. There is better episodes in the season. It's just I'm picking it because it's because of the way it's just opened up as well and let us know that this second season is going to a whole lot more fucking crazier. And you need that. You need that good opener. And that's why I've put it on my list. So since we're moving on, Little Miss Dangerous.
Before you move on with that one, just really quickly,
you
say that.
You said something earlier when they interrupted. I do apologize. Yeah,
sorry. The rooftop shouting match between the DEA, the NYPD pettiness with Charles S. Dutton from so many movies, Piano Lesson, Aliens 3.
He's always a fucking asshole, isn't he? He's always an asshole in movies, this guy.
But my father was an NYPD detective, and I used to watch this show with him, and he thought Don Johnson was an effeminate, whiny, little chain-smoking tough guy, and he was just like, let me get my hands on him. I just beat the crap out of that guy. So the NYPD cops having no tolerance for them, that made sense. And I loved all the locations. We see Penn Jillette for the first time in the doorway, I'm pretty sure, from the video Waiting on a Friend by the Stones. That seems to be St. Mark's Place. Lots of places in and around Midtown, in and around Club Delirious is supposed to be Studio 54. The first husband, Peter Allen of, what's her name from... I'm blanking. Judy Garland's daughter. He was married to her. Peter Allen.
Liza Minnelli?
Yes, thank you. He plays quote gay pusher or homosexual pusher is the name of his character. He's like, do you think that she likes it? And he's like plays this mean gay guy to the T. In only has 2 walk-ons, but he's just there to establish the New York nature of it. All the shots on West Broadway, all the shots in Midtown. That was an extensive shoot, and like I said, the rooftop screaming match and the territorial pissing match. This show at least understood a lot of the mindset of cops. It didn't understand the mindset of police operations or fire discipline, but it did understand cops.
Yeah, because it's funny you mention that, because there was a couple of times where after he gets his gun back off Margaret, he does actually...
It only takes him a day to notice he's lost his gun, yes.
Yeah. But he does check it as well once she hands him it back as well, which shows, okay, so he's got some kind of training the actor in real life, because they do... because I think they might have had some kind of technical advisor, because Michael Mann usually had those kind of people on his films as well, especially Thief, which was like years before this aired.
His hands are out of frame, but the sounds are perfect. I think he's supposed to be checking it to see if she fired it. Like, he doesn't trust her at all for that moment. But that big exchange where they drop off the cocaine and have the final, heat-like battle. And isn't that Michael Mann as well? We have a heat-like battle, running and gunning in the streets, just running and gunning in the streets, better than any other gunfight in this entire series. And you may or may not recognize that location, but I was astonished that they chose to hand off millions of dollars worth of cocaine in front of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in World Trade Center Plaza in what you guys now refer to as Ground Zero. So it was emotional for me to see the buildings. Well, yeah, and it was a little bit emotional for me to see the towers. Just, I live in New York. I had line of sight on that, but it was cool too to see it in that context. I liked it. It didn't bother me.
Really, I thought it was a New York tradition to hand off millions of dollars of cocaine in front of the Twin Towers back then in the 80s. I'm sorry, I thought that was like the thing to do when you come to town.
But yeah, that is the thing to do. But I love how their shotguns and weapons grow out of their suit jackets. But you know what? The one thing we didn't mention is when Among the Living dude from Poltergeist 2 says, like, America sneezes, the world gets a cold. He was implying what was all in the air back then that everyone was talking about was that the CIA is dumping all this cocaine. And that's why he immediately seems to recognize what he's talking about. He doesn't elaborate and he goes, "We can't touch you, but we're going to take out all your little trolls." And he leaves. He just leaves the main spider alone. And I guess the deal is New York still owns Miami. Maybe Miami's going to come back, but Miami's getting tougher and has more professional law enforcement than it used to, because now they're starting to assert themselves, and they're going to go. That movie followed the entire distribution chain of cocaine and had the CIA narrative sort of woven through it very well. I was surprised how well that episode was.
Done. Because it's kind of like these fucking Illuminati, eyes wide shut kind of fucking weirdos in BlackRock, isn't it? Yeah, this guy. And I really like. Well, yeah, it's a big boat. You're just along for the ride. Why rock it?
And he looks horrible. He's basically the smoking man. He's the smoking man from the X-Files, but if he had even one puff of a cigarette, that would be the end of him. He's so fragile. But he makes the most effective threats of anybody in this show that we see this season, really. He's just like, I am a wimpy string puller, but I will have you taken out.
Yeah, because he doesn't scream or shout or anything. He's just very calm and he's very in control. Even when Crockett threatens him, he's still very calm.
He tells him how much money he has in the bank. Crockett threatens him and he says, "You have $645 in the bank, and American Express is turning you down next month." And he's like, "What? They are?"
All right, so we'll move on. The Prodigal Son, very good opener. And Lord Toxic, what's your first pick?
Yeah, if you want to pull up the slide I provided down below, if you'd like to, give you a little information and at least one good screenshot. So, Out Where the Buses Don't Run is probably a big one on everybody's. Co-starring Bruce McGill, came out November 15th, 1985. This is definitely from season 2, one of my favorite episodes. This is where I really feel like season 2 got its legs, so to speak. And Bruce McGill is always he is just value added wherever you put him, especially if you put him with Michael Mann. A lot of people will probably remember or not that he plays one of the FBI SRT guys in Collateral.
Heat. Collateral.
No, Bruce McGill's not in Heat. He's in Collateral.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, I was getting ahead of you.
That's okay. That's okay.
When you say he's in Heat.
During the 80s and the 90s, Bruce McGill could be found playing a variety of different roles. He's just as Lance would say, he's just a jobbing character actor who always elevates everything that he does. The title of this is a play on words. It basically just means that, anything that somebody is saying is a little bit off kilter and crazy, so to speak. And it's actually, this episode is loosely based on a true story that occurred in Miami in the 1970s with detectives with this similar kind of plot. So I like it a lot. It's definitely something that comes to mind when people say Miami Vice. This is one of the premiere episodes that pops up, and I start thinking about it automatically.
Yep, it is one of the best fucking episodes probably on TV. It's got one of the darkest fucking twists, and Bruce McGill, you're constantly questioning this guy. Is he a threat? Is he dangerous? Is he tragic? He's kind of all of those things. Because this guy is he's really not fucking right in the head. He's especially when you get to the end, which is probably one of the greatest fucking twists I've ever seen at the end of an episode.
Yeah, because I was sure that character would recur. He was so strong. He had some tech. He had a few little gadgets.
I know, because he's very smart. He knows his stuff, but at the same time, he's very eccentric. He's got these weird outbursts where he just starts talking like fucking Speedy Gonzales for some reason, and the ending is so fucking tragic as well, because you can see this is a guy who was a very good man back in the day. He was a very honest cop. He wanted to do good, but the fact that the system was being more in favour of the very people he was trying to chase down fucking got to him and just turned him. It changed him. And he's suffering from this mental problem as well, where he's pretty much suppressed what he's done, and he doesn't even notice that the guy he's killed and buried in this fucking wall for 20 years is rotting. He acts like he's a quiet, old, tired old man. He even says, "Book him." And the guy's dead. He's been in the wall. He's saying, "Book him." And that ending, and I will say this: The Brothers in Arms is probably one of the best examples of using music to convey an emotion to be seen. It really is.
Well, one of the things that Bruce McGill bases performance is that when people started to like not believe him or question his theories or the way that he does stuff, that's when the crazy would kind of come out. And a lot of people that you deal with that, they come off this way. It's like a defense mechanism. So it's pretty interesting. I just think he played the shit out of this role. He definitely firing on all cylinders with it.
Yeah, it's one of the best fucking guest roles as well, especially in this series. Like I said, there's ambiguity, there's mystery around this character. He's funny. You feel sympathy for him as well, but at the same time, you don't know if he's a threat to them as well either. So yeah, I think I've just given my views out already. So yeah, who else has got Out Where the Buses Don't Run on their list?
Guilty.
Number one.
Yeah, Admiral Teag.
Yeah, this was a great episode. I'll give you a quick overview on how I felt about it. Where the Buses Don't Run starts out really strong with a classic Who number. We see an American celebrity in the form of Little Richard as a manic street preacher. It was, compelling beginning. We see this guy Skates, who's like a cocaine dealer, and he's just all whacked out on drugs. It was, we see Crocker has a sixth sense where he can feel he's being watched. And Bruce McGill, I think everyone has said a lot about the performance. What we don't get is this character was set up to recur, and I don't know why they killed him, because he has a primitive anti-crime. Maybe it's a computer mainframe, or maybe it's an AI. We don't really... He says he talks to it, but then he says he feeds it the information. So there's other sides of that where it seems like the computer is magically taking pictures and magically hacking things, and they try to hack the computer, and the computer taunts them back. So there's a little bit going on there. Is it an AI, or is it scripted prompts? It could have been either. I thought that McGill did a great job. I think his name is David Strathairn. He's like an American crime actor par excellence. Yeah, he is Marty. He puts in a really strong performance and sells Marty. And what we see here is that, like, he says it a couple of times, but he's just like, F you, Crocker. You dress like the singer from Duran Duran. I'll beat your ass, which is appropriate, by the way. Anyone who doesn't like Crocker is right. And, the more professional cops. And he's just like, leave me alone, man. Like, I would do what I had to do for my partner. And it was kind of like the Star Trek episode The Doomsday Machine, where we see someone in a situation where our heroes are in, broken. That's a warning to Tubbs and Crocker, especially Crocker. This is Crocker if things go too wrong. You know what I mean? And then the thing like, I did this because he's my partner. That's such a cop thing. We've seen one cop go down a bad path because he was trying to bring the other back or protect him. So I like the fraternity. And like I said, this show at least understands the mentality of cops. We had a batshit gun battle like 3 times in this episode, but the way the cops interacted was tactile and nailed the rest of the show into reality very well.
Yeah, thanks for that, Admiral Teag. Yeah, and yeah, I really do agree that this is he's almost a reflection on what Crockett and Tubbs could be as well in the future, because they're
If they were a lot smarter.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a lot smarter than them. He does a couple of he imitates Scotty. He has our second Star Trek joke of the season.
Yeah, no, you're right, because he is very fucking intelligent. I mean, yeah, he's insane. He's not fucking right in the head, but he knows his stuff. This guy was a fucking detective, and he really does come across that way, despite his very eccentric manner.
And he's got that AI.
Yeah, I know. It's like I built it up like it's his fucking girlfriend or something, but no, it's just this little computer.
What I think is funny is that he comes across as though that he's supposed to be like all these years older than Crockett, but he's actually like 7 months younger than Don Johnson.
Yeah, I found that out as well. That was nuts.
He's a great actor for Animal House, though. What is he, like 38 in Animal House playing a college freshman?
That's D-Day.
Way to go, D-Day, yeah. And he's in FDR, American Badass, and other great
like
movies.
30 years, yeah. He's one of them guys.
Yeah, did we give up when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?
Really? That was Stork, I think. Oh, but no, that was Belushi who said that one.
Yeah, John Belushi. Yeah. It's still one of the best lines in the fucking.
It's a great classic movie.
Isn't he the bad guy in Reacher season 1?
Yes, season 1. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Frank Mendoza in Collateral. That's right. He gets shot in the leg in the club. I don't know why I confused that with Heat.
If you guys remember, much more soft edge and family-friendly cop show called The Closer, between him, who was the captain of the division that had, like, what was she, psychic or something, or she just, like, could figure everything out, and the first actress was whoever, but the second, from Babylon 5, but the second closer is Kira Sedgwick, who's in another episode, so we got 2 people from another cop show encapsulated in this cop show. She's, like, G. Gordon Liddy's coke-fronting girlfriend, who wears, like, an aluminum foil jumpsuit.
Oh, who didn't?
It's just weird to see her so young.
I think Kira Sedgwick might actually be in one of the episodes. I think it's the film.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. It might be the G. Gordon Liddy one.
It's not on my list, though, but it probably might be on someone else's. Anyone else got Out Where the Buses Don't Run on their list?
Number 1 on mine. This is one of the few episodes I remember.
Are you back yet, man?
I remember watching this in 1985. I was about 15. I remember watching this episode thinking, where's this going? You know, what's this all about? And I liked the computer. That was kind of interesting. But I was a kid at the time. And the reveal I thought was, it blew my mind at the time. How David Strathairn delivers that line, I helped him build the wall. You know, the acting in that scene is brilliant. David Strathairn has really made a career of playing sinister authority figures, right? And he's done that a lot, but it's interesting to see him earlier in his career playing a more sympathetic character, you know?
Yeah, I think it's
so that was really cool.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting seeing him with not grey hair as well, because he's got
he's
kind of got this very distinctive look since he's gotten older. But he's a very good actor, and it kind of shows just how much this job takes its toll on good people. It's a very disturbing episode, and it's also one of the reasons why so many people still love this episode. People still cite this as probably one of the best Miami Vice episodes out of them all.
Yeah, I've been there to
Bruce
see a
McGill
couple
just
of
sells it.
He does. It's his it's his episode, right? Crockett and Tubbs are fucking side characters. He is the main character. He is the star in this episode. He is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if Michael Mann realized that as he was filming it. You know, obviously he'd written the script and all the rest, but I wonder if as he was filming it, he realized, this I need to let this character really shine through because he's going to make such an impression with the audience. You know, playing a really tortured, I think is the word I would describe him as. He's a deeply tortured man. And that to me explains his mania when he, smashes the wall down. There he is. He's right there. Yeah. He's deeply in his delusion because he wants them to know. He wants to absolve himself of the guilt for murdering Arcaro because he knows he's done something terribly wrong, despite wanting to do something really, it's the right and the wrong thing to do. It's a great episode, and there's so much you can say about it. But the key to it all is Bruce McGill's stellar performance in that role. Probably one of the best of his career. He had a very good career, but this would be one of the highlights of his career, you would think.
I don't. It's a shame he's never really became a lead actor in anything. He's always been the side.
There are guys who don't need to. There are guys. I saw Ron Perlman yesterday at New Zealand Comic Con, and Hellboy, he was just a character actor, and there are guys who, like Stephen Root is one of my favorite character actors, right? There are guys who make their whole career of being different, a little bit different every time they appear. And, that there are guys who, and girls too, who make tremendous careers of that, and William Fichtner would be a really famous character actor from the States. Guys like that are so famous for those individual roles. They just come on, do something a bit memorable, and then they're gone. It's a documentary about him called it, and isn't it That Guy? It's one of the I can't remember the name of the documentary, but it's about character actors in Hollywood. And I suspect Bruce McGill, that's all he's ever wanted to do.
Yeah, I think he just wants to be lead a quiet life and make his money, and that's about it. And that's what most actors.
Who knows? Who knows?
He has steadily worked. He has been in that closer show for like 14, 15 years, quietly accumulating a nice salary. So you know what I mean? It's paid off for him.
Is that?
And he gets to do occasional movies. I don't know if it's still on, but it's still in massive reruns. My mom loves the show, and it's still around. So I don't know if it's been maybe swapped out for yet another version of Law and Order, but it had a long run. It went through 2 stars.
I wouldn't really call it a version of Law and Order. It's kind of like a cozy mystery version of Law and Order, if it's anything.
Right. What I'm saying is, on that network that used to show it, Law and Order reset the table with by having one more of their shows, because they had a Law and Order for cable show only called Criminal Intent. So I think that replaced the closer. The closer reruns went away for Law and Order Criminal Intent. That's all I meant by that. Sorry.
That's no problem.
Would anyone characterize Miami Vice as a police procedural? Because I feel like it's a police drama, but not a procedural.
No, definitely.
There's an episode here and there.
It's more of a drama.
Here and there it is. It's a long MTV music video, but once in a while it does use a little bit of procedural. It is a little bit procedural here and there. The movie shows the most procedure. They move up the chain, one piece of evidence to the next, all the way to the top of the distribution tree, and then they find out Miami isn't big enough of a fish to go toe-to-toe with New York and the CIA at the same time, while the DEA is undermining them and the NYPD wants them out of town, so they back off because they're not big enough yet.
I think that's a really great question, because a lot of people may or may not define it as one of the earlier police procedurals and stuff like that. I think the fact that it's so stylish is what breaks it out of the procedural kind of definition. I don't know how to better say it than that, except just it's with its 80s MTV rock and roll type music video aesthetic, and then obviously we've talked about the clothes and that kind of style, and it's very distinct dialogue. I think it lends itself to a more of like a genre cop show than anything else.
Yeah. Personally, I don't like police procedurals that much. Can't stand the CSI programs. It's just not a thing I enjoy. My wife loves them.
I have never in my life watched a CSI program. They're so silly. They're so ridiculous.
You're missing nothing.
Bones is okay.
Oh, I don't know. It's
she's cute. I thought it was about Star Trek, so I watched it.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Damn it, I'm a doctor, not a bloody forensic scientist.
Except that this Bones is someone I would bone right away.
Man, I'll tell you what, man, those kind of shows really, really know how to speak to females of a certain age or whatever. Like lonely females, boy, they love the fuck out of the shows like that, like House MD. Man, they love the shit out of that stuff. I once bought my roommate when I was in the Army, and she was like a divorced E4 soldier, and you know, so we partnered up and got a place together. And I gave her season 4 on DVD of Bones, and you'd have thought I donated her a kidney. She was so happy. She was in tears. She was like, "This is my favorite show. Oh my God." I was like, all right, it's nothing that special. Trust me. But yeah, man, they love the shit out of those programs.
I can see Bones having some appeal. I mean, David Boreanaz is actually a very charismatic guy, and he showed he could.
Not in that show, he's not. Not in that
No,
show.
I like him as Booth.
I've only seen
like
a
him as
few
Booth.
episodes. Not back to back, just mostly in and out when I'm doing stuff, but it was kind of cool in it.
It's the Dr. Brennan character. It's Bones. She's socially awkward, unintentionally and needlessly confrontational, and causes more problems than anything when they try to get her to testify. To the point where we had that great episode where they had a humaning coach for her so she could talk to normal people, and then they had the jury disqualify her as too insane to be testifying because she's too smart to talk to anyone else and socially inept.
I personally believe that shows like that are the main reason why we've had this huge uptick in women self-diagnosing themselves as being on the spectrum.
Shit.
She may have had Asperger's, yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So yeah, Admiral Teag, toxic pick. We've gone through 2 already that have already been on some people's list, but is there anything your first pick that's already not been mentioned yet? Admiral Teag.
My first pick that's not been mentioned, because we did 1 and 2 in order, actually, were mine. And then the next one, I kind of viewed them as companion pieces of really, really weird jazz fusion crime breakdown, Whatever Works, and Tale of the Goat. Because in the world of Miami Vice, voodoo, it's kind of real. Crockett accepts it. Tubbs is like trying to debunk it. And like every voodoo crazy thing they do works. They leave it up in the air whether there's a forensic explanation and suggest some here and there. But then I think in this same episode, or is it an earlier episode where we have the dirty cops and they're messing around with Catwoman and voodoo. Sorry, Whatever Works with Catwoman and voodoo. That voodoo, like when the bad things come to fruition, like the voodoo talisman shows up on the body of the shot cop out of nowhere. There's no way for it to get to him. And Crockett just kind of looks at this talisman and looks at Tubbs and is like, see, voodoo. And I could just imagine these guys in court like, well, that's when the voodoo set in, Mr. Your Honor. But Whatever Works with Eartha Kitt, the first one of the first Catwomen, was a really good episode. And we had a lot of Captain Castillo in it. So, you know, we got some Adama showing that maybe this show would have fallen apart without as strong of an actor, because that episode is really ethereal and a little bit untethered from reality, where we really are using magic and we have to go consult a medium to go find the bad guys. But cops really did do that shit, so it's not that outrageous. I liked Whatever Works a lot. That was my number 3.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't put this on my list because I always thought whenever they go after some Rastafarians or voodoo stuff, I always kind of switch off.
Racism.
I'm Cuban, so Santeria was from Cuba.
Dealers, you know, it's Miami Vice. I like the drug dealer kind of side of it, but yeah, it probably is something that goes on in Miami a bit more because you got the swamps as well, haven't you? So there's a lot of these people, Haitians, that live around there who are into that kind of thing.
Yeah. So they're transplanting sort of stuff from New Orleans, or as we call it, the Big Easy, onto Miami. Because remember, when you see that skyline, it's pretty sparse. Miami's not really much yet. It's on its way. People can tell it's going to go somewhere, and modern air conditioning's been perfected, so it's really taken off. But you see their skyline, and then you see when they're on the roof of that building in New York. It's like they're up and coming, but they got a long way to go. And also, their cops have to have like borrowed cars in that episode with the bad cops. He yells at them, you're off your jurisdiction and you don't live in the area. This is because in the South, cops can drink in uniform, congregate, and they get to drive their cars home in Florida. It's a big part of the perk of your job. You make very little money. Although where these guys
Cops
are, they
can
should
conjugate?
do all right. In
They're allowed
Florida,
to
they can
conjugate
conjugate.
in uniform? They can conjugate in uniform?
They can pull a train.
Nice. Did I hear you say episode 3? Did I miss episode 2 or our favorite number 2s?
Well, yeah.
No, I meant episode number 3 of the season.
Yeah, because if there's any that hasn't been mentioned, because I know a couple of people have already mentioned 2 of their episodes anyway, so yeah, I'm just going down in order anyway.
Oh.
Just for,
okay.
See if there's any episode that hasn't been mentioned yet and it's on their list, go down in order. Like one person here hasn't been mentioned, I mention it, and yeah, we'll see what happens anyway. And after the time when we mention one episode, others will have that episode on their list anyway. And if I see who has, then yeah, you can cross it off your list.
Can I just one quick thing about where the buses don't run? I missed my note here. You ready? In this close-knit small police department, Crockett and Captain Castillo have never met the most storied detective of the first 7 or 8 years of their career there. They never ran into him at all.
Yeah, it's probably something the writers came up with after, because they probably wasn't expecting maybe a second season. Who knows? It's like one of those things where
He was attending Faber College. Come on.
Why? I just figured the only person who has an excuse not to know him is Tubbs, because he just got sick in New York and went down there to work.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty big. I mean, I don't want to split hairs with you, but that's a pretty big assumption that just some dude that's in the Miami police force or even anywhere in would automatically know this other person. That's a huge organization. I mean,
no, it's like 1,000 to 1,500 people in 1984. It's bigger now. It's not a big city at this point. Look, you can see their skyline from the marina. 3-4 buildings. Now, if you look at that same skyline now, packed with buildings. It's 60 times bigger than it was. The city was on the up and coming, but it wasn't even really the mainest city of Florida. People thought of Orlando first because it had a theme park.
I think most people from Florida would know it's West Palm Beach is the biggest one.
Florida, yeah. The snowbird New Yorkers, probably not.
Okay, so Tale of the Goat. Has anyone else got Tale of the Goat?
I got this one.
Taking on a different meaning, of course.
I don't. Yeah. If it has a different meaning than you fly from New York to Florida in the wintertime because it's affordable, I don't know it.
Yeah.
I thought I was flying cocaine smuggler.
I do.
Well, I mean, I try to bring some with me when I come home. Yeah, I mean, of course. But in Florida.
I do have Tale of the Goat is my number 2 choice, Luke.
Okay,
I've got that one too.
So yeah, Lord Toxic, your views on the Tale of the Goat.
If you want to pull up my slide real quick, it's down below. That way I can keep this kind of orderly.
He loves it when you pull on his slide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Slide it up, boy. Slide it up.
Season 2, episode 7, Tales of the Goat. Episode aired November 15th, 1985. I like this one. I think it's one of the ones that I don't know if it was the first one that started to delve into heavy into the Bokar and the witch doctor type thing. As a lot of people who've been in a few of the podcasts that I've done, my first wife is Haitian refugee from Haiti, and I can tell you right now that voodoo black magic and the white Honagun magic is very, very real. I've seen it in action. I'm only talking to you guys right now because it's real, because in a off-color conversation I had with her on my second tour in Iraq, I said, well, I don't think I'm going to be coming back for my next tour. I'm not going to live to see 35. And she said, white boy, I'm going to put a curse on you. Make sure you live to 100. And despite all of my run-ins with all of the things that have happened, I'm still fucking bouncing around here, up to and including the most recent car accident. So I can tell you with pretty good authority that, that shit's real, man. It's real as fuck. But anyway, yeah, I like this episode. I think it gives a good if you go down to South Florida, man, you're gonna be inundated with a lot of Haitian culture, and it's a complete divergence of the voodoo black magic culture that's in New Orleans. It's completely different. They have their own way of living down in that part of South Florida, all the Haitian areas and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where, you know, you got to be completely inculcated into there. You know, they have the Cuban area and they have the Haitian areas. And even to this day, I was in Florida last year with the FEMA crew, and it's not that much different. They tend to migrate towards the bigger cities. They don't go out on the opposite coast into the smaller, like suburban type areas, for a multitude of reasons. But yeah, they really have their own culture, their own thing going on in there. And I think this episode captures it really, really well.
Yeah, nice one then. So, yes. Probably
And great use of inculcated.
Thank you. Well, I am a writer after all, so.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Can you fit ubiquitous in somewhere?
I'm gonna on my next one. I definitely will try to get ubiquitous in there.
Oh, brilliant! Buy his book. I've got past the sex scene now, and after I had to wash my brain to get the image out, it's been really good.
Nice one. Thank you.
I have Tell to go.
So everyone else in chat, go and have to make my exit of all days. My man needs expertise. Money makes the monkey dance. I've got to feed the bulldogs and put tires on Lexus. No, man, you haven't got
good luck, my friend.
Stuff, mate. You haven't got a chance to mention your episode here, man. Okay, well, if your time is pressing, then okay, man.
I had Tell the Goat on my list too. I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Like I said, Voodoo works again. Like, this is the one I think where Tubbs is so sure that voodoo works that he starts doing some research on it, and they shoot him full of like something, and then he's all out of his mind for a while, having like a psychedelic voodoo trip out, and we play some great music, and I thought it was a really again another good episode. And again, in the world of Miami Vice, voodoo kind of works. And I think in this one I was laughing at how bad Crockett's rubber alligator is.
Yeah, Elvis.
He looks good sometimes. Other times he looks like just a piece of plastic.
A pretty good piece of trivia for this. This is the only.
Yeah. Like when he's just sitting there still, like he's just not. Yeah, because he used that excuse like he's high on fucking hallucinogenics and some kind of LSD to that. It's kind of fucked him up. So
yeah, I wanted some.
I
was like, I'd be down for some of that.
Yeah,
what's his trivia, mate?
Yeah, so this is one of the few episodes that you actually get to see Tubbs reloading his revolver in a gunfight. Most of the times, it just keeps on shooting, and if he reloaded, it must have been off screen or something. This is one of the few times you actually get to see it.
He conspicuously has a low capacity revolver too. It's a 5-round.
Yeah, he's got a 5-rounder. Yeah, exactly.
What caliber is it?
It looks to be a 38 caliber Smith & Wesson police special or variant.
They call that a detective special, actually.
Detective special, chief special. I've seen both.
Chief special. Any of those work. I mean, they
show up around 1958, 59.
Yeah.
It's a reliable police gun. My father had one. That was his backup
it's great.
weapon.
I carried 2 of them when I was in the Army as my personal weapons that I walked around with. And yeah, they're great. You can flip them around and bang nails and do construction work all day with them and still get 5 in the 10 ring with them.
And they won't go off by mistake. They're very reliable.
No. Yeah, they're great.
And very safe.
They're awesome.
Yeah, cops love them because you can hit people around with them. And they understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you can also, if you got to get information out of somebody, just put 1 bullet in there.
Yeah. Crockett has the Psycho Cop gun with the Smith & Wesson 645, but Tubbs has like listen, maybe I can tie my buddy Crockett down, have him put his balls in a bucket of ice while I work out a deal for you. Why don't you talk to me, turkey? You know what I mean? Like he has like the more sensible cop gun, or a good one for sticking it in your face.
In the 80s, if you go under the guys that Tubbs is a New York detective in the 80s in New York. I mean, pretty much most of the detectives, that was a pretty ubiquitous weapon. They all had a chief special.
Thank you.
Yes,
well done.
My father had that gun because that's what they were issued when they had that grade of policeman, and they moved to the automatic in like the middle 80s. So
my automatic.
I don't think you had to switch over. If you were already in, you could grandfather your gun to the end of your career. They're like, we trust revolvers, but if you want one of these Glocks, we got these too.
Yeah, facts.
Luke, did you hear during that dissertation on firearms? Did you hear Boris the Blade in your mind there? The weight is sign of reliability. If it doesn't work, you can hit him with it.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, so Till, has anyone else got that on their list?
No, sorry.
Okay,
I think
we'll move on.
only note I had on that one was they managed to work in a song from The Fix, so I liked that. And Serpent in the Rainbow was my other note. Certainly they were cognizant of this movie.
Okay.
That's right.
Moving on to Inside Man. Is he back yet?
Live and Let Die?
Yeah. Inside Man not... Inside Man still muted, okay, unless he comes back. I'll have to move on to RTNZ, okay. And I don't think I've got onto your other picks. I'm guessing a couple of them are already ticked off right now, but the pick that hasn't been mentioned just yet, that's on your list.
I've got one. You've got Out Where the Buses Don't Run, number one on my list. So I knew everyone would have that. But I've got 4 others that we haven't talked about yet. So number 2 on my list is Bushido. Bushido being the regular prince.
Nice.
Bushido.
I was almost going to put that on, but I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't put it on, but it's a good one, though, and it's a very good Castillo episode. Bushido.
Yeah, it's Castillo. It's a great episode, Bushido. It's got everything. It's got the fucking KGB. It's got everything 80s. It's got ninja fighting. It's got Edward James almost put in a very physical performance, right? I mean, I don't know how much training he had to do this role, but that bit where he's got himself above the door jamb, right? He's up on the ceiling and jumps down and slits the guy's throat. Brilliant. Yeah. And of course, David Rush before he was Sledgehammer, right? As the sort of the KGB mole leader, right?
Yeah, the mole.
It's got everything in this episode. Dean Stockwell, as well. I mean, yeah, it's great. I really enjoyed this episode. Lots of action, lots of intrigue, tropes of the 80s, the Russians as the Soviets as the bad guys. Not the Russians, the Soviets. And Castillo. I like the whole cat and mouse feel of this episode, And great resolution. Surf's up. And then they just blow them away. It's very satisfying, this one. It's a very satisfying episode.
Yeah, I love Castillo because he's not as glamorous as Crockett and Tubbs. He actually feels just like a real guy. He's very stoic. He's very quiet. He knows how to sort of keep the bureaucrats off people's backs, but at the same time, he will still stick up for his fucking men, no matter what.
Hey, do you see Inside Man's just put in the chat that Bushido is his number 1?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a really good episode. I watched
there, and I'm not hearing you. Let's check as well.
He had to duck out, Luke. He had to take off.
All right.
Yeah, but he's put in the chat Bushido is his number 1 episode, so I don't feel like such an idiot now.
No, not at all. It's my next choice and my number 3, brother. And
get in there. Talk about it.
Well, I'll wait till Luke calls on me, but yeah.
Oh, okay. He's the boss.
If there's anything else you need to add, RT, then
no, not at all. Because I think lots of other people have stuff to say about it. So that's enough from me.
Okay, I'll move on to Lord Toxic. Then I'll get your slides up.
Yeah, go. I just got the couple, but this
is
actually,
slide.
Ironically, this is the first Miami Vice episode I ever watched. I thought Castillo was, and I only kind of caught it in the middle of it. My dad was watching it on break from his job or whatever thing passed for his job, and he was sitting in the living room watching the show, and I kind of came in. I said, "Can I watch this with you?" He said, "Yeah, it's a cop show." And he says cop show, and then I see a guy with a samurai sword, and I was like, "Okay, well, interesting." So I just assumed that Castillo was the bad guy until you watch, the whole thing, because the Russian operative guy Sledgehammer, he's got a American accent because of course he would, being a mole. So I'm watching this, and I just thought it was fascinating. And then after watching the entire series, it's one that I come back to a lot of times. Bushido, Castillo being a samurai-minded kind of person really lends itself to his character through all of the show. They had this running thing in 80s cop shows where the commander of season 1 would usually be replaced. They did it, to good extent with this, but also with 21 Jump Street. They bring in a captain that has a lot more gravitas. Obviously in this show, the first one gets killed off, and I keep saying captain. He's actually a lieutenant, as a matter of fact. It's when I first started to learn the use of the term Lou, as opposed to, like I used to think in some TV shows that was the guy's name, but they call the lieutenant Lou. In the Army we'd call him an LT. But it's a great episode. I can't really expound more on what RTNZ said, besides the fact that it's just, a great character development for Castillo. And it really, he almost gets to play, I think it's one of the best things he's done, besides like Two Guns from like 2013. As far as, he's just a real menacing character, and he's the good guy in it, which is really cool.
Do you think it's because of episodes like this that we can't take Barry Shabaka Henley seriously as Castillo in the movie version that Man made?
I think he had big shoes to fill, and I think it's one of those things that even though that unpronounceable actor's name is he's very good, I think I think it's not something that he should have done. Hell, they could have conceivably brought Edward James Olmos back in 2006. I mean, he would have been fine with it. I mean, he would have been a little older, but I think it would have been great. I think they missed opportunity of bringing him back.
He would have been doing Battlestar Galactica.
You know what? I was just thinking that the impact of Battlestar Galactica had not sunk in yet, right? We had gotten the first miniseries, and the second one's dropping as that happens. So, like the impact of Adama takes like 5 to 10 years to percolate through, where people are like, Captain Castillo was more than just some guy who brooded in the corner. Like, maybe if it hadn't been an actor so powerful, Captain Castillo wouldn't have worked. Because Lieutenant Castillo, a lot of it is a glance, a look, the lack of a look, the lack of a glance. He's very subtle. I like his performance throughout the whole season.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, so Mr. A said top 5 is Yankee Dollar, Bushido, Payback, Phil the Shill, and Sons of Lovers. All right, thanks for joining us.
Phil was great.
Sorry we didn't get to you.
I got Payback as well on mine.
Phil the Shill was great. I didn't put it on my list, but I laughed through that whole episode. Very self-aware.
Yeah, Phil Collins isn't the best actor, but he does look like he's having fun in this a little bit, and
he's playing himself.
Yeah. He must just does his little delivery. That's it. That's all he does throughout the whole series. But it's a fun little episode. Kind of takes a break from the more darker, shit that goes on in this series. But and sometimes you need that levity. But yeah, Bushido, it's in my top 10. Not my top 5, but I do like it. I do like Castillo just sort of being his own little main character for once. And I do agree with you, Toxic. I think in the Miami Vice movie in 2006, I think he still would have played that part well. I mean, little older, yeah, but fucking hell, sometimes a very older Castillo is not a bad thing.
Although they whiffed on it in that Blade Runner remake Nightmare disaster. We could have just had as bad of a movie without him.
Yeah, well,
looks great though. I
actually like Blade Runner 2049. I mean, it had its problems, but it still seemed very respectful to the original series, unlike most unnecessary sequels or spin-offs to franchises these days anyway.
My problem is with Villeneuve and how every third weekend of every release he goes and holds his own audience hostage and says, maybe if you all go see it again, I'll finish this story. And that Blade Runner movie starts and stops. It doesn't have setup and payoff. We drop into a pre-made world. We can understand it well enough. The table's been reset a little bit. But we have a robot, replicant revolution rolled out there. This thing's going to go down in a few hours, but we blow that off to go after our other ticking clock of getting Decker, who will not pay off the 30 years of speculation or 35 years of speculation that he's a replicant, because Harrison Ford never believed that. And I thought that movie could have been a lot better. I did think it was visually beautiful, and it looked like Philip K. Dick. It was the best Philip K. Dick movie by virtue of having no book to destroy.
I think that's a little harsh. I think
Don't
it's a
you
little
like
harsh.
Total Recall?
No one. You see, but the thing is, the Total Recall is a really good movie, but it's a terrible movie of the book. The book takes place all on Earth. The book's stakes are different. The book's outcome is different. Everything has been swapped out of there, and the book has got a different title. And that's probably for the best because it's not really the same story.
Going off the rails.
Yeah, we're going off the bit tangent.
Yeah, back to Miami Vice. Sorry.
We probably will delve into that when I do a Total Recall Bastards breakdown one day.
Yes,
that up as well because that I think people have talked that to death, but fuck it, I'll still do it anyway because we always need another arsehole talking something to death anyway, don't we? So
facts.
So Bushido. So no one else is moved. So we'll probably move on. So my next pick is Little Miss Dangerous, and all right, it's not something that Vice Squad probably would take on because it's dealing with like a serial killer who's also a female underage dancer at a sex club, and it's we don't know that just yet. Tubbs doesn't know that just yet. He still thinks it's this very lost girl who's about to go down a very dark road and is trying to help her, but he has no idea she's this fucking killer. And we got this other guy as well who's like a dance partner, and he's kind of this guy who's kind of covering up her crimes as well, but it's got this very good dark brooding atmosphere to it as well. And Fiona does a very good job really selling the innocence of this underage dancer as well. You do feel like you want to save her at the moment, but at the same time, you don't. It's like the more innocent she plays this role, the more creepier she becomes as well. So let me get the episode up. Little Miss Dangerous.
Do you think she's actually evil or just unhinged? What do you think?
I
Both.
think her mother did meth. I think her mother did meth while she was in the womb. You know what? I liked this episode. It was on my top 5 list too. It's my number 5. My notes were psycho, hooker, pop star, Fiona. Very interesting, dark, psychological. It's, and you know what? This one had the witnesses were some of the homeless people, and we had that really wild homeless lady who was combing her hair with a toilet brush, and Crockett buys her a beer. I thought that this was the best episode of all the 17 I watched as far as making it seem like they loved and cared about their city and that they wanted to be guardians of it. The interaction with the homeless people and the kindness they showed them and the fact that they treated them like people and the show treated them like people. I thought that showed an amazing sensitivity, and even, bad guys who are heroes in their own story, but I really enjoyed their interaction and their tactile nature of the people that they dealt with on the street. And I forgot to mention this before. The thing I think that made that first movie work so well is the director is Starsky from Starsky and Hutch. It's Paul Michael Glazer. It's not Michael Mann.
Yeah, fun.
Michael Mann doesn't direct any of these episodes. He's the executive producer.
And it's weird you say that as well. He's a producer, but at the same time, you wonder if he's got his stamp on it a little bit, because this does feel very much like his Manhunter movie a little bit.
It does, which he's making at about the same time. You know what? That movie was not well regarded for like 5 years after it came out. It wasn't appreciated. And then it starts to level up after the sequels to Silence of the Lambs show that you can make a much worse movie. And I enjoyed... It really does. His movies are really well paced and really well cut, but like something like Last of the Mohegans, where it gets frantic. He's growing. Like his first couple of movies show a lot of promise, but he's a little too hyperactive with the cutting, and maybe he has some of this cocaine that they're looking for too at home. Just saying. But then his movies get better. By 2000, he peaks with Ali, and I think we all agree that just the Miami Vice movie was like a pure whiff. It didn't work. It was too late. It was the wrong guys. No one cared. It was everything.
Collateral, though.
You can't do this. You can't do Miami Vice in the 2000s. This has a certain look, a certain aesthetic, and it just doesn't match other decades.
No,
am I dreaming? Then?
Unless it had been about the 80s, unless it had taken place at the same time.
Collateral's Michael Mann, though, isn't it? And that's a brilliant film.
Yeah.
He has a lot of good movies. He's a really good director, and sometimes it takes a second and third watch to see that he does set things up because he's really fast and really visual. Sometimes to a fault. There's setup and payoff for everything in Last of the Mohegans, but you could miss it really easy.
Yeah, I like the look of this episode
staunch
as well.
Miami Vice 2006 defender. I think it's a good movie. It doesn't live up to, you can't though. I mean, it's like saying, if Firefly had done 5 seasons, Serenity wouldn't be able to catch up to anything that they did. The show was just too damn good and had too much world building, and it was such a product of its times, updating it for modern audiences, and and not that they went woke with it or anything. It's just really, really too difficult to do. But on its own, it's kind of like when I hear people cry and pee all over their pants about True Detective season 2 and say what a piece of shit it is. It's not. It's actually a great season. It's just compared to season 1, which is monolith.
You think Farrell was miscast as Crockett?
No. I thought he was great in it, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I do think in the movie version they and I don't want to go off on a rant. You can rein me in anytime, Luke. I think they emphasize Tubbs a little too much in that, and I wish that the rest of the team had gotten a little bit more screen time and a little bit more background. But for what it is, I mean, it's on its own. It's a good movie. So.
Yeah,
I like this dark rug pull at the end.
I think they kind of did the same with Tubbs in the series. There was a lot of episodes that seemed to be focusing a little bit more on him than Tubbs, especially later on with season 4 and 5. But I think with the movie, though, they seem to lack that same kind of charm that Don Johnson and Michael Phillip Thomas really conveyed on screen in the TV show. They seemed a little bit too stoic in the movie for my liking.
That's true. That's a very, very valid criticism of it. What I liked about the TV show in the 80s, is that you always knew when the black main character was going to be the center of the show, because the female love interest would come up and she'd be a person of color. So you're like, oh, okay, so this is going to be a Tubbs episode.
Yeah, and plus, I think a lot of people seem to slag off Michael Phillip Johnson, Michael Phillip Thomas, that he wasn't the best actor, but he did still have this kind of like sort of charisma and this sort of like flair to the screen when he showed up. You can tell he was really getting into the role a little bit, even though.
I don't know if it was the fact that he wasn't a great actor. I think it's more the fact that when you have a ensemble series like this and you have such stellar knockout actors like Edward James Olmos, and Don Johnson, I think it brings someone who's just a good actor. I think it really brings them down, unfortunately. In some instances they can elevate them, but in a lot of instances all it does is draw attention to how kind of mid they are.
Yeah, because he tried to do that EGOT thing, didn't he? He tried to get an Emmy, a Grammy, a Tony, and an Oscar, everything, and he sadly didn't do it. He became a psychic in the end for some reason.
He wasn't able to pull off being a tough guy in pink baggy pants. Like, hey, buddy, I'll kick your ass. I mean, this I would not be afraid of this man. I'd just be like, come here, I'm gonna beat your ass.
Yeah, I could never fucking wear pink pants. I couldn't. Don Johnson, he's the only guy who could pull it off. He's the only guy who could pull it off.
He's the chain-smoking, pink-wearing, swearing, hard-nosed cop. He's a little contradictory.
Yeah, well, he's in this hot weather as well. You got to wear bright colors to sort of like make sure you don't get so fucking hot. But once again, these visuals are brilliant, though. This is very creepy visuals. It's got this very brooding atmosphere, and especially at the end, though, when you got Order of Death by Public Image Limited playing as well.
Yep.
You don't know whether she's going to kill Tubbs as well, but then she says, I don't want to hurt you, and you kind of wonder if she actually did care for him a little bit, but then she shoots herself and they can't save her. I don't know. I always like these like very tragic endings as well, especially when Don Johnson pulls his face, this face where he says, oh my God, I was too late. I fucked up. I couldn't save the person. Oh.
This was a really good episode, but I would just point out that hard-nosed, streetwise cops, Crockett and Tubbs, do not have their threat assessment radar go off when psycho prostitute who's murdering people and doing drugs and turning tricks nonstop with like a dead-eyed like thing going on where she's just absolutely just a little too crazy. I did love that the twist where she was the one doing the murdering. I love the like I said, this one, the fact that they loved their town was cool, but like what did they do? They gave like a criminal the keys to a police safe house and let her stay there. Who's she gonna bring back with her? I mean, she's a wild card. She's crazy. She needs to be in like detox or something and in a psych ward. And he's just lucky he didn't get done in this episode. And yeah, like you said, Don Johnson, he's too late to save Fiona, but she'll have a couple of pop hits. I thought it was weird that she had my birthday.
Listen, they were Vice detectives, not police intelligence. Okay, so
that's why that's one of the things that helps this episode. Though
that's why they should have put fucking actual the proper people on, and not Vice detectives. These guys are not drug dealers.
They get involved because Tubbs has personal feelings for Fiona and gives her his card. He gives his card to that crazy chick, Valerie. He gives his card to that crazy chick. I forget her name, but and she won't take it, and he keeps trying to get her like job counseling and like drug rehab, and she won't go. And he's like, I should give you the keys to the police safe house.
Just like Amy Winehouse.
I'm sure Admiral Teag will back me up on this with his police knowledge, but for those in the know, even though there is a very obvious, well-known 80s police drama named after it, Vice is where you go when you're a shitty cop. And it's like usually when you get a suspension or you get in trouble, they send you to Vice.
It's a little bit of a gross world, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think LA, what was it? LA Noire, the fucking Xbox game, actually did that, what you just said. You're a shamed officer and you get bumped down to fucking Vice.
Yeah, they pick it up in LA Confidential as well. That's where Hollywood Jack gets sent to after he gets busted down.
Right.
Rollo Tomasi.
Nice.
This is also one of the weird things as well, because these are Vice cops, yet they get sent on jobs where they track down fucking serial killers, especially in the third one where that guy's like just breaking into people's houses and then he's just fucking stealing the food and their trousers. Then he escalates to sexual essaying people.
Yeah,
it's a good dark, creepy episode, but at the same time, I'm like, maybe this is going a bit too far here.
It gets addressed in later seasons and episodes, especially the one where Crockett accidentally gets the guy off death row and he's a cop killer and he becomes a fugitive and has to chase him down, and it gets addressed then. I think the lieutenant and then like the FBI are like, hey, you're Vice, this is not for you to be looking into. And even the criminal himself says, hey, we don't got to worry about this guy. He's going to be working his own things with Vice. He's not a homicide detective. He's not coming after us.
Specialized department.
Thanks, Mr.
Specialized areas of specialization for detectives only start showing up in the 90s. And
that's probably
Mr.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made cops that get bumped down to Vice look cool, though, didn't they? So I'll give the show credit there for a second. So yeah,
it is a TV cop trope. It's definitely true of every Hollywood police department that we've seen on screen.
So yeah, Lord Toxic, your next pick has
it's down below if you wanna pull it up.
Okay. There we go.
Yes.
Back in the world.
Got it.
The very first Don Johnson directed episode. I think he went on to do 3 or 4 more. But yeah, he directed this one. It's got, a lot of the stuff that we've already been alluded to, but we get a little bit more Crockett background of what he did before he became a cop. We get Patty I'm probably mispronouncing this, Patty D'Abernville playing the ex or the girlfriend and mother of his son, baby mama, before that was a thing. We get G. Gordon Liddy, Barbara Balaban, Iman. Iman makes an appearance in this. We get to see, Soldier Sonny, which is pretty cool. And then, the whole subplot of, his correspondent friend that has a weird conspiracy about the CIA and heroin. And as we know, the CIA would never, ever bring drugs into the inner cities in order to do some kind of agenda or anything like that. No, that would
Heavens
definitely
no. Heavens no.
To finance their operations, not a chance.
Never. But yeah, Tour of Duty was kind of a big show right around this time when this, I think when this aired, or at least when the first time I saw it. I was big on Vietnam movies were huge in the 80s. So it only made sense that they would, do something with this and bring up an episode like that. I like it a lot. It would have been a little higher on my on here if I had never joined the military. And upon a rewatch, I was like, oh, okay, this is a little cringy. But it still stands up, season 2, top 5. So I'm pretty happy with it in my number 3 slot.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you something about this? Because you'd have the best perspective of anyone that I know. What did you think of their portrayal? When they go to the Veterans Center and have a chat with those guys, try and get information. How did you feel about that particular scene? Do you think really inaccurate, really accurate? What do you think?
No, I mean, it's the Hollywood TV version of stuff, and they always make the veterans in these things like so over the top, and everybody's got horrible PTSD or missing arms or missing legs. And I mean, you could go to most veteran places, really not like that at all. You're not going to see a bunch of people. I was actually in a veteran hospital getting my knee reconstructed, and it's really not like that. And it's not all these like grizzled. I mean, maybe it was in the 80s. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not old enough to have been in Vietnam, but I just don't think that it's really like that. I don't think every single person is some combat vet missing a limb or really, really messed up with PTSD and things like that. I mean, I know PTSD is a real thing. I'm not poo-pooing on it. I don't have a lot of opinion on it just because I'm a sociopath, and sociopaths don't get PTSD. And I am not missing any limbs. I've been blown up a couple times, so God bless the Haitian first wife for putting that voodoo curse on me. So obviously,
you got blown up, you dumbass.
There you go.
So, but yeah, no, it's a good episode. That stuff aside, like I said, that and good point. Pointing that out, RT, is the fact that upon the rewatch, I was kind of like, this is a little cringy. To me, G. Gordon Liddy is always a win. To me, Iman is always a win added into this. I think more though. I mean, the more likely thing would be if I had to nitpick more, I would say that it wouldn't be Crockett being like one of the only vets. Like police forces are almost always flooded with veterans because there's only so many jobs you know how to do after you've been overseas, especially combat guys and stuff. So I feel like most of the cast of characters would be ex-military and stuff like that. So in that way, the I'd say that's a little inaccurate, but again, I don't, it's still good enough to have wound up in my top 5.
Yeah, anyone else got this on their list?
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. It's number 3 on mine. Yeah.
Nice.
I love this episode. I think it's just a fascinating view from someone looking from the outside in of American culture, and you got the presence of G. Gordon Liddy. Like, that guy's a piece of American history. He's just only died away recently. He's a piece of American history, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy who is ostensibly at the same time a super patriot and also a criminal, right? So he's a fascinating character and actually not a bad actor at all. Like, he's convincingly sinister. And what a great name, Captain Real Estate, So that for me was terrific. The Bob Balaban character I quite liked. And also the storyline of heroin being smuggled back in body bags shows up in a lot of films and probably reality as well. Like American Gangster, very similar, right? Even Punisher season 1.
Right now in Power, Raising Kanan, they're doing that.
Yeah. So the idea of moving drugs through the military, through military sources back into America, is a real
because there's so much protection on I mean, there is a lot. I mean, they do look hard into the caskets and the funeral stuff, but there's so much. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Kevin Bacon movie where he escorts the dead body of a fallen Marine. There's a lot of hands-off approach with that because it's considered disrespectful. I mean, obviously it's a way more disrespectfully smuggling weapons or drugs.
Wait, is it Bacon or is it Woody Harrelson?
Bacon, because Woody Harrelson is in the Messenger, where they notify people of the.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's very similar. Yeah. Well, they came out around the same time when the wars really intensified.
Agreed. No, yeah, they did. But,
this wasn't on my list, but when you get done, I just like a couple of quick things I'll add.
Sure. But it's one of those things that it's definitely possible. In fact, it's not just possible; it's probably pretty likely, since as far as I know, American Gangsters is loosely based on the true story. So that they were doing these kind of things.
Brian.
So yeah, it's good. It's based in a lot of. I did misspeak accidentally, because this is. I forgot this is actually my number 4 pick, not my number 3, because I already did my number 3. So, but yeah,
just real quick. I was adopted and raised by a cop, but I met my father. He was a Vietnam soldier. I would say he spoke with optimism about America, and he felt okay about doing his duty. But he had anger, and he did say the same things that those guys said at that hospital. So while it looks how it looks now, all these years later, and several fresh injections of patriotism and tough times for America later, and a new respect for our military that we didn't have after Vietnam, this was probably seen as very compassionate and giving voice to a segment of the veterans who had been ignored in 1985 or 4 when this came out.
Sure. No, I get you. Again, like I said, I wasn't in Vietnam, so I can't speak to that particular era of time or anything like that. I don't know what the VA was like at that time. Maybe it was.
My father was happy with it. My father was happy with it. I just wanted to give voice to that. Like, I think while you're totally right about the attitudes and things that you expressed, I think that the show, as unreal, it is taking some liberties. It's being a bit unrealistic. It is showing them the way you're saying. But I think that most people were like, that gave voice to something that needed to be said, because they were largely ignored. They get their victory parade after Desert Storm. Other veterans had to stand up for them. And only, this is a lot of people. 50,000 people die. 50,000 Americans are killed in combat, but 300,000 die of Agent Orange poisoning after the war. So there would be a whole lot of people in that VA, and they would be sick, and they probably would be angry, because they were losing lawsuits, and the government doesn't recognize this for another 11 years. Bill Clinton finally acknowledges the things that happened.
See, that's what makes this episode great, though, is it actually is a look from the for us from on the outside. It's a look at a slice of American history, and it's obviously it's in an exaggerated form. But having G. Gordon Liddy in this episode as well gives it a little, it was fascinating, right? It's just a portrayal of America that maybe as Americans you take quite differently, but those of us on the outside, it shows us something that maybe you don't want to see a little bit. But yeah, it's a great episode, and I just can't say enough good things about it.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for that. That's Out in the Wild. Back in the Wild, sorry for that. Artie, was this on your list, or have you?
Yeah, it was number 3. Number 3 on my list.
Yeah. Cheers for that, Admiral Teag as well. That was fucking hell. Yeah, this might actually might have raised in the my top 10 episodes, by the way, as well. I think it's a very good episode. I just didn't have it in my top 10 at the time, but you've made a lot.
There's so many series highs in this one, and highly rated by the fan episodes in this season. This is a dogfight
as well, doesn't he? In series 3, and he kind of redeemed himself a little bit as well.
Yeah,
even though it's too late.
I'm not going to lie to you, Northern English bastard. I misinterpreted your instructions, and I got to tell you, thanks for Red Dwarf. I enjoyed the 25 episodes I watched of that, but in the last 2 days of catching up with Miami Vice, I found it is, at least this cop show wants to have fun sometimes, and it's just serious enough. Like, they don't try to preach too much here. They're just like, this is happening. There are some people who are unhappy and underserved. Maybe we should listen to them, and we're going to have our fun. Now we're going to shoot up a boat or whatever we do in this episode.
Yeah, it is very glamorized a little. It is very glamorized. I mean, these are
the soldiers.
Pastel, so sort of like
going down in speedboats, taking on fucking drug dealers. So yeah, it's
The cops are as realistic as the soldiers, right? These jaded soldiers with all these problems at the VA are just as unrealistic as these cops who killed like 38 people by mid-season. I lost count how many people Crockett just guns down. And he never has to fill out a report. No, the news never shows up. It's like, you know, Miami detectives shot 16 like Cuban drug dealers. This is 78 Cubans killed this week just on this show. And it's just like, you know, if there would be people outside the police station protesting even in the 80s, and probably counter protesters who were like Crockett, like even be like Batman and Robin, like people would love them and hate them.
No, that's definitely a good point. It's always interesting to me. I heard somebody recently say something about the TV show The Rookie, and they're like, look how many times they don't actually kill anybody on that show. And I'm like, yeah, because if they did, you'd be like, you know, you can't just waste people and just be totally, you know, you're gonna get pulled from duty. I think
Hang
it's
on.
after like
Raylan Gibbons. Raylan Gibbons.
Law and Order learned that lesson. SVU is in season 26. Benson's killed one person and shot one other in the leg.
Right. Yeah.
When
When
Raylan shoots someone, we cheer though. So
well, I mean, you got to look at that in universe as well, you know. And to be fair, that show does, you know, we'll save that for the Justified stream coming to you soon from Bastards Breakdown. But I will say one last thing.
Didn't you? You fucking had to get me on that.
Justified's best show ever.
Yeah, agreed.
I used to really want to say again, though. It's,
I just talked it into existence for you now, so you got to do it. I will say one last thing on Back in the World. So Back in the World, it's basically like a toast that you would give you, and they still do it to this day, or at least as most recently as like 2014 when I was still in Iraq. You know, while you're overseas, it's a toast you give to anytime you do a toast, you always say either back in the world or back to the world, which is just a way of saying, you know, we're going to make it. We're going to get out of this tour. We're going to get out of this combat area, and we're going to get home. But it's also has a double meaning of, you know, you're back in the world, and now what are you going to do? So, you know, I thought that was pretty cool.
Because even though Miami Vice had its little glamour, it still touched on fucking subjects that was real and affecting a lot of people. And it's not a full-on light-hearted show. I mean, it's not afraid to go dark. It's not afraid to go a bit nihilistic as well, or honest, for lack of a better word. So yeah, Back in the World. I think you've already mentioned that. So I think I think that was RT's pick as well.
That was mine.
Was, yeah. So yeah, that's back up to me then. Okay, definitely Miami. That's another one. I think that might be my third pick now, and that is where Crockett is sort of mixed up with this very beautiful woman who's also tricking him to get killed by a hitman played by Ted Nugent. You know, she's like one of these women that always likes to get people killed. So definitely Miami.
They're all like that, just so you know.
Yeah, because
this was another one where the danger. Where's their danger sense?
They don't want you to get killed by Ted Nugent.
Yeah,
if you gotta go, but where's their danger sensibilities again? Like once again, it's like she's really deadly. Crockett spends a lot of time with his back to her, with guns laying around.
Yeah, they seem to really let dangerous women fucking get them into shit.
Listen, guys, they're not intelligence or homicide detectives. They're the Vice Squad. So come on, just
and they're in like they're not in a real city. They're in an up and coming city. Yeah, they're like the bench players for sure. And Tubbs couldn't handle it in New York.
Oh, look at those! Oh, pull that slide back, Luke. That fucking look at those 1980s squad cars. Damn, that's
look at those cars. Those are Crown Victorias, aren't they?
Oh my God, man, that brings back some fucking memories.
Or those Dodge Diplomats.
But
that makes me think of Police Squad.
Makes me think of Auto Vice City.
By the way, I lived in Florida for a year, like a month of it in Miami. So like it only took me about the middle of the first episode to be like, is this filmed in Miami or Orlando? It was definitely Florida. I'm like, this ain't California. I can tell by even the texture of the grass in Florida is unique.
Yep, good point. Good point.
I love that, and I love that hit. By the way, he whacks some guy, and then he pulls a Breaking Bad. But instead of just burying him with like a bobcat, he has like 4 billion tons of dirt just dropped in the guy's car as he drives away.
Yeah, Ted Nugent's definitely having a fucking laugh in this this show. He is very convincing, and once again, Crockett really fucking lets these women sort of play him a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, and for this chick who was more glamorous than she was beautiful, I'm just like, dude, that double processed bleach blonde hair. I mean, have you noticed that she comes with a lot of baggage and a psychopathic murderer, current husband? Like, maybe just stick with the drug mule stewardess. Try to clean her up.
Well, he went to college on a football scholarship. What can you say?
Right.
Not for
He's
his brains.
5'11". That's what I say about that. I say BS to that.
She is hot, though. She is hot.
Oh, you know if she's that kind of crazy, you know she's doing butt stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to scrape the both of you off the ceiling after a night of wildness. Yeah.
I do love that ending though. I think the ending is still the best thing on this though. Just when he proper blanks her, she's like saying, "Oh, I'm so worried about you." Oh, and then he just walks away. He doesn't say a fucking word, and
she goes right to work on the cops.
Yeah, she's like flirting with these bloody cops up in that air. They'll let her off the hook.
They don't handcuff her either. They're just like, "All right, come this way, pretty lady. You're going to pretty person jail. It's in Barbie Town."
Yeah.
Pretty
Once
person
again,
jail.
the soundtrack gets used in a very useful way as well, like Godley and Cream with Cry, and it's just that little shot of Crockett just standing on the beach while that song finishes. You can tell he's going through a lot. The betrayal, the pain, the hurt, he's pissed off, everything. All in one scene without saying a word. It's brilliant.
I sure hope it was forced perspective when they buried that Porsche 911. I mean, an 84 Porsche. I mean, I hope they didn't really bury it. And there's our boy, Captain Castillo. He's got an older weapon because he's been on the force longer.
Yeah.
And like I said, but that's the other thing again. I mean, not to belabor this one, Lord Toxicity, if you would indulge me, shouldn't someone that high up know someone else that high up between him and Weldon? Right? It's not a large world at the command level they're living at.
I mean, I wasn't a cop in the 80s. I was still like I was still a fat kid in Catholic school in South Florida, so I can't really speak to what would have been happening, and I'll defer to your experience, with your dad more. I mean, all I knew about law enforcement was how many times the sheriff's department came to come get my dad on bench warrants and stuff. But I'm
sorry about that.
No, don't be. It lends it to good novel material. But I really don't know as far as that goes. I mean, it seems like they maybe should, but then again,
this is a really notoriously small, a really notoriously underfunded, and a really notoriously low-paid police department at the time the show comes on. That's why they're all dirty. Their pay was like in this period of time was like $400 a week, and you got to keep the car.
Yeah, but you don't get into law enforcement in Florida for money that you get paid. You get into law enforcement in Florida for the fringe.
For the girls.
Yeah.
My father scoffed at them every time we went down there and sort of like saw them as I don't know. He just felt that they like Florida, for instance, has no police academy. That's why Transplant Tubbs is doing so well. Like he's a detective there. And if you notice, he's a little more level-headed than Crockett, except for in Little Miss Dangerous, where he just does every dumb thing.
Well, he's more level-headed
as well. I always notice that sometimes when one becomes a little bit more emotional, the other tries to reel them back in. It's.
But isn't that the point of any? You can't have you can't have a narrative of anything, movie, TV show, book, anything where you have two people that are total psychos. I mean, maybe if you have The Shield, I guess is like that might be the
everyone's a fucking psycho in The Shield.
Yeah, that's about the only one. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like you have to have one person being cool-headed and one person being, off the rails or whatever. Which is why, and I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but I mean, the movie version was good because they were both equally level-headed, but equally willing to step over the line as long as it was in service of the partner. Like, Tubbs' character being totally cool with Crockett banging out the Asian fucking cartel bookkeeper / wife, and Crockett being like, yeah, we'll go into the white supremacist area with no backup and totally get in a gunfight with all these guys because Trudy's been taken hostage. Yeah, bet that up. Let's do it. So
yeah, and these guys only have sketchy girlfriends, right up to Lieutenant Castillo, who hangs out with kooky like voodoo priestess Eartha Kitt.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's definitely Miami. Is this on anybody else's list?
Not mine. Sorry, mate.
If I was a lieutenant, I might talk to Crockett about that gun, how much of a hand cannon it is, and how little trigger discipline he has. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, you're supposed to keep it outside the trigger, right? Yeah, unless you're willing to shoot someone. So yeah, Castillo didn't exist till 1975, and Castillo worked for the company. So I'm guessing, yeah, it's the link to your booklet. Yeah, do check it out. If you're in England, then do put .co.uk and not .com. So yeah, moving on. Lord Toxic, your next pick. Toxic?
You might be muted,
He's
buddy.
in deep contemplation.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know if my signal came off or Lord Toxic is quiet. Your next pick, Toxic? Oh, well, we'll move on to him later. Admiral Teag? No. Oh, yeah, you go.
Oh, he's back. Welcome back to your show.
Yeah.
So,
next pick.
They're pretty flip with their guns. I think we got through my 5, but I guess honorable mention. There's a few honorable mentions, and like I guess one nitpick on Back to the World. I guess Bob Balaban decided to play the heroin addict as emotionless. He was just emotionless the whole time. It's like, he's dead, man. I can't believe it, Stone. And he's like, yeah, man, bad deal. Anyway, about that heroin.
He's that way in everything, though. Like in 2010, the year we made Contact, he's exactly the same.
Yeah, you're right. But he's the guy. He's the guy who turns Hal back on, right?
Yeah. I just think of him as Dr. Chandra. I think of him as sort of a non-actor. Like, he does what Clint Eastwood does, the minimalist stuff, but just doesn't do it in a cool, interesting way.
His delivery is a little weird. I don't know if it's... I'm not going to call it bad, but it's a little strange. Unique. It's unique.
Quirky.
Yeah, so what we've got for your list already, Admiral Teag?
Well, I did go through like most of the season, and a lot of the episodes were really good. A couple of them, like for instance, like we didn't address some aspects. I think of was it there's a whole thing in out where the buses don't run. Isn't that the one, or is it whatever works where his car gets repossessed?
Oh yeah,
and his car gets repossessed, and this is one of the reasons why I remember watching this episode with my father, and it was like I must have been raining and freezing out for me not to have gone out on Fridays when I'm pretty sure this was on in like America, and I just remember. Yeah, he's having a meltdown and screaming and yelling at his boss, who's a superior officer, and screaming and yelling about how he's entitled to this, that, and the other thing. And my dad was just like, I'd like to kick this guy's ass. What a piece of crap. He needs a Maserati to keep up his front as a drug dealer. Wearing that outfit. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of fun and funny, though, to show. It was a little bit of like the Rockford Files side of Crockett, right? He's a little bit Jim Rockford.
Yeah, but yeah.
I don't know.
It's just funny. There wasn't.
It was all fun, and it showed how he deals with life. Right? It was like he can't pay his bills on time. He pays them when he gets called too many times and just has to pay them. At the beginning of the episode, we see that he's getting like 5 non-committed relationships. He just tells the chick to get lost, and she's happy to do it. Yeah, he's just living the life at that marina. And some of those shots, like for a while there, I was sure that they had the boats on land in forced perspective to the dock and just had stagehands moving them to be reliable. But after a while, I start to feel like it was too organic, and maybe they really did just take the chance of like having these boats be tied up or secured as best they could to like a more secure moorings, and just put a camera there, especially in the boathouse in the one with out there where the buses don't run. That boathouse shot was amazing. We have some great shots in this, which is all the more amazing because Michael Mann's not involved. But we have a Mankiewicz as the story editor doing, like, making sure that they cut this and put it together in a way that's visually appealing and cohesive. So they do a really good job with that.
Okay. Yeah, it's just
this was my least favorite tough guy outfit, by the way. The leather bike, the white linen biker jacket with the pink pants. I would, even if he was a cop, I might have to assault him for walking up to me dressed like that.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
it was the 80s. It was cool.
It's a weird thing to pull off, though, pink trousers. Even I wouldn't dare fucking do that.
Like Tubbs
what else
could
have you
walk
got
down
on your list, mate?
Tubbs could still walk down the street, you know? Crocker, I don't know.
What else you got on your list, Luke?
Can probably get away with it, yeah. So, yeah, Atty, your next pick is it your
All right.
Yeah.
So we've done off my list, we've done Out Where the Buses Don't Run, Bushido, and Back in the World. But I also had Payback, which no one's mentioned yet.
Okay, Payback. Now we're talking.
Because there's a very early on self-deletion scene in that, which would be incredibly controversial today on television, I would think. And it's a cat and mouse episode as well. And it features, of course, a man who's probably sort of vanished now from popular culture, but was very much a popular culture icon. And then Frank Zappa as sort of the enemy drug dealer who goes for a bit of a swim at the end of the episode. Yeah. So this is Crockett dealing with accusations of corruption, both as his police self, but also as his sort of alter ego, Sonny Burnett, right? And you'd think that this episode would have had some pretty significant consequences for him going forward, and I'm not sure that it did, whether that was a continuity error or not. But I just like this one because Zappa has so much presence as the drug dealer. Yeah, and of course the music. There was the Jan Hammer did a particular score for this one that plays several times during the episode that I found a bit haunting. Really, it was quite neat. Not as haunting as Evan's theme from season 1, but yeah, it was good. Yeah, so that's my take. That's on my list as well at number 4. Payback.
By the way, you're right. Something happened in this season. They shuffled them around. Is it John Deal's character? There's the other 2 detectives, and sometimes they go to the leather club and that have that whole hilarious thing.
Yeah.
But that guy's beer. That guy
Blue Oyster Bar.
Yeah, but the partner, not Sweetek, but his partner, he has
Zito.
Zito has a grown out beard at the beginning of the season. He's clean shaven in the middle, and he has a partially grown in beard in other episodes later on. Because I did watch a bunch of episodes. This was so much fun to watch. Well, a lot of this is now junked up in my mind into one big mega story. I watched too many stories in too short a time, but I wanted to be up to speed for the Miami Vice thing. And boy, I wasn't expecting it to be so much fun. At least it was a lot of fun to watch. And again, really well filmed.
Yeah, the boat scenes in this one are great. I mean, at the end, that's quite a stunt because obviously it's not Zappa, but whoever jumps off the back of that speedboat as they drive away, we can't see the front of the shot, right? But there's no rescue boat in close proximity. So, and that's open water, right? They're taking quite a risk there at the end of that episode, which I thought was a little bit surprising. But yeah, anyone else have this on their list? Or just me?
I didn't have it on my list. It's in my top 10 though.
That's the tale of today's stream, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just hard picking all these episodes though because there's so many good ones, especially in this season.
The Phil Collins one easily could have been the favorite, and I think we forgot to mention this one. But is it the second one? The first one about the bad cops? Is it Whatever Works? The band at the bar is the band that does the theme song for Commando. It's freaking Duran Duran, the Thompson Twins, and Checkered Flag all mashed up into one. It's called The Power Station. And they play a different version of their hit, Get It On, which is a T-Rex song. Yeah. And they had Robert Palmer as the original singer, but this is the lineup that does the song from the end of Commando. We Fight for Love.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I remember
and
Robert
they
Palmer.
go to this bar. They go into this bar, and Duran is just sitting there, and he's like, "Hey, JT, what's going on?" It's like the chain-smoking tough guy who just never sobers up. It's like, how does this guy not get fired?
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking unrealistic stuff that happens in this show. There is a lot. I don't like Frank Zappa in this though. He's only at the end though, but man, he really fucking goes all in. He really does.
Presence. Yeah.
I know.
Just the way he says, I found out that Crockett and Burnett are the same guy. You know, I just you can tell he's having a ball portraying this character.
An 8-ball,
this also
perhaps.
does lead to another problem as well. Because now he's found out that Burnett and Crockett are the same people. Isn't he going to let all the other drug dealers know? Like,
well, that was my issue, but you know,
yeah.
yeah.
Drug dealers. If you come across this guy called Sonny Burnett, don't fucking bother as a cop. All right? Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely one of the big plot hole things of any cop show is someone doing undercover work, and then, you know, once they actually bust them, I've seen it addressed a couple times where, you know, like True Detective season 1, you know, where they make like fake his death pretty much, and then send him to go be a detective in another state. I think because I think he was in he was in Matthew McConaughey's characters in Texas as an undercover narc, and then they move him all the way to Louisiana in a completely different job. So I think that's more realistic. But I mean, I guess if he had to retire or switch jobs after every big bust, I mean, it wouldn't be much of a show, would it?
All right.
Yeah, they needed some kind of massacre control, though. I mean, there are so many high body count firefights to start off the episode, and that is some fun. But you know, it says something that the very last year of this is the first year we have the Law and Order shows showing up with a different, less, you know, sometimes if they're going to kill the bad guy, like a random cop will kill him that we'll never see again. Like, we don't have our heroes build up like massive body counts. We don't put them into shootouts all the time. Doesn't become a weekly function of the show to set up 2 firefights.
What year is NYPD Blue?
1992.
It's starting to show up at about. That's starting to coalesce too, like a different, more realistic police show. Right now, we've just got a log jam. This is a log jam of police shows. But if you look at the people,
Blues, that's right.
Hill Street Blues is around. This is sort of in the world of Miami Vice. They've got just enough Hill Street Blues as far as like it's gritty, it wears on the cops, it's tough. But they've got like a little more of like the lightheartedness here mixed in. They love their city. Sometimes they have a little bit of fun. They're not all doom and gloom all the time. And, you know, they do like these crazy, wild things that sort of make up for the other, like, it's like, again, I'm not going to be afraid of a guy in pink pants. I will take Crockett any day of the week. And if I'm a criminal, these are the guys I want chasing me. I'm being honest. Like, maybe Tubbs figures it out, but Crockett's just going to have a prolonged meltdown and yell at the lieutenant until the case is solved.
That scene there where he's sitting outside of IA, there's nothing there but the guy reading the magazine, and it's Crockett's sitting there sweating, and he's sweating, he's fidgeting, and he starts talking to the guy. He says, "How come you aren't sweating?" Maybe I got nothing to
one of the
sweat
guys,
about.
isn't he, who's checking him out?
Yeah, that's one of the IA guys that's just fucking with him. That's such an 80s trope of internal affairs being portrayed as, you know, complete arseholes.
Well, they are.
That's right. I forgot that Trudy's last name is Joplin.
Ooh, top trivia. I didn't know.
Lloyd Toxic got that one out there for us in the chat.
You're welcome.
He'll get it out for you in the chat.
Nothing like engaging us on several levels.
Yeah, Mystery said that.
Dude, I gotta go with the Admiral on this one, man. 53 bodies just in season 2 is an insane amount of people.
This would have been like by the end of season 3, it's like it happened again. Maniac, murderer, cops, Crockett and Tubbs killed 17 people without a warrant. There was no probable cause for the raid on the boathouse.
I'm the most intrigued by how Tubbs has 28.5. So would he put one guy in a coma, or
he gets an assist because what do you call it? It's really Tubbs' kill. It was a kill steal. And by the way, they blow away people who they could take prisoner all the time. Like he's got there's a few times they have guys dead to rights, and instead of taking them taking them in, and let's face it, prisoners have this thing called information. You want to solve the crime, and it's like you lose, blam, and it's like while the guy's pointing the gun the other direction, and that would make it into these modern investigations too. When cops kill someone in these days, hopefully it's always justified, but even if it's justified, you must surrender your gun. You've got to go to the cop psychological department for a little while and just draw pictures and paint finger paint to prove to them that you're not crazy by doing things that they make crazy people do. And then they're like, okay, here's your good person stamp and you can go back out there and do it again.
Yeah.
So
but they do make sure that they watch you for a while and they don't want you to have the gun the day you do it.
It's Judge Dredd in pink pants. Amazing.
Sonny Crockett is a menace to society and is so much more unrestrained with the violence than any Dirty Harry movie we've ever seen. Yeah. There are so many times when there are civilians in the law. He gives no fucks. And I'm honest, if I'm Lieutenant Castillo, and maybe Lord Toxic will talk to me about this one, after the amount of bodies piled up by episode 4, I'm like, Crockett, come here. I don't want you carrying that hand cannon anymore. It's got a really high ammo capacity, and you're putting 5-6 rounds in everyone you kill. Give me a break. I just thought that Crockett was far too unrestrained with the violence, and they were smart enough to make. If you notice, Tubbs is more the brains of this operation, though, because he has training. He's from the big city, and he's played in the big leagues. He just didn't want to be there anymore. It was too painful to be in New York, or too much temptation, and whatever it was that made him leave. I guess some darkness.
He probably started running out of money to pay for $7,000 for an efficiency apartment in New York, and all of the money going to your illegals that are there or something. I don't know.
Honestly, you know what? Rent in New York City at that time was under $600 for a decent midtown apartment. Things change really freaking fast. This was a different New York. The New York they go to is the New York of my youth. I was already kind of getting in and around there, and I was on the scene maybe within 4 or 5 years of this episode because I'm driving age. But
I stabbed him 37 times in the chest. Carl, that kills people.
Oh. That's a usual conversation between Castillo and Crockett. It's like, Crockett, you can't.
Yes. Yeah, this is basically Sonny Crockett's response, though, in a situation.
Anyway, I started blasting. Bang!
think about this for a moment, though. Those crazy New York streets, that's where I learned how to drive.
Yes. It's like Steve McGarrett in the Hawaii Five-0 remake. He must have a massive body count. I mean, they pop off a bunch of
by the end of
guys every
episode 1.
Episode.
They never dispense any exposition in that show unless they're driving and machine gunning at the same time. And again, it's like, thank you, Alex Kurtzman, for this great storytelling. You've done for Hawaii Five-0 what you've done for Star Trek.
I don't know. I liked it. It appealed to me. What can I say? I got simple
It didn't
tastes.
destroy that beloved of a franchise, and it was better than it had Roberto Orci kind of smoothing out the Kurtzmanisms.
I'm not too ashamed to admit that in the military, when you're a military policeman, they give you a badge, but it's on the back. You have to flip it over. It's on the back of your billfold ID holder. But I purposely went out to a pawn shop and bought the kind that you can put your military ID and then the badge in 2 different things so that I could flip it open like an 80s cop. I had a chance to do it.
Yeah, that's how you do things, right? Right?
You know what? That's something that has changed. Oh, yeah. Did the soundtrack sound a lot like Commando at times? Jan Hammer was leaning into the Commando soundtrack with a lot of those timbali synths.
Oh, Jan Hammer, my favorite German psychopath. Well,
not Hans Zimmer. I mean, Hans Zimmer is far worse. But...
Oh, I got to push back against that one. People slag off Hans Zimmer, but he's given us some really iconic scores. So I'm sorry, I'm not having that.
It's just that it's become a little bit more repetitive now. Like it's the same score that goes on in a loop, but you don't get that sort of free kind of that sort of free structure like you did with Indiana Jones. If you get what I mean.
Hans comes to mind because this is such an MTV style show with MTV style clothes. I mean, watch the video for Rio, directed by Andy Warhol. and you see the same clothes and some of the same imagery, especially from some of these jazz fusion trip outs we have where, like, you know, Tubbs might be going crazy from some voodoo drugs. Some shared DNA. Yeah, and where can I get the? Where was I when they were selling those drugs? I could have used some of those, and I thought that they did a good love letter to their city, because by the middle of it, they're showing that one of the things that keeps Crockett and Tubb from going insane the way Weldon did was they really love Miami.
Yeah. No, I will tell you this, though, you know, on all the many hours I spent playing Grand Theft Auto Vice City, once I had the mod where I could control the radio and play which songs I wanted, I would always play the Jan Hammer soundtrack stuff and just have that playing. It kind of puts me in like a zen, you know, kind of relaxing, you know, mindset while I was doing these like impossible missions in order to complete the game. I'd always have that Jan Hammer soundtrack playing.
Nice.
But
Crockett's theme?
They've got to have a lot of fucking paperwork to do as well with all those fucking bodies that they keep putting down.
They never do any paperwork. They just like bag and tag them. It's like,
got this fucking right as well. How the fuck are you going to do all this carnage and not have a shitload of paperwork after?
Well,
you know what? He had a bunch of tags from the Florida Fish and Game Department, and every time he got like, it's like, oh, that guy's a Cuban. Give me the Cuban tag, and he just like put it on him. It's like the Fish and Game guys will come take care of it. Let's go, Tubbs.
I feel like it's very possible that, you know, being the mid 80s, that Trudy and the other chick were just, you know, they'd give the paperwork and make them do it. Be like, hey,
Yeah,
give him a little slap, on the tuchus, and be like, thanks, gorgeous.
You know what? You're right, because when not Trudy, but Gina comes back at the end of episode 1, and she's not back at work, but maybe she's picking up her paycheck or saying hi. Tubbs is, welcoming her while Crockett's on the phone yelling at people like an idiot, like he always does. He has no investigative curiosity. He doesn't even want to know why people call him on the phone. He just yells at them when they call. But he's hopeless and he's fumbling around, and Gina just like she grows a pencil out of her hand and gives it to him.
Nice.
And I thought it was a nice touch, though. I thought it was a nice touch that in the pilot episode we find out that he just got done banging Gina out like a couple nights ago. He didn't call her back because they love that shit. He's a douchebag to every woman in the show. I was like, yeah, that was like the one thing. I was like, no wonder women are so damaged and broken by the time they get to me. Some guy in like cherry pink pants, like turned got them like to do every crazy thing in one night and never called them back. And he like,
you're damn right, I do. You're damn
used
right
more hairspray than you did, lady.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna pay for that.
Yeah, you will. You and every good guy in the whole world is gonna have to clean up my messes.
Thank God I'm not that good of a guy.
Yeah.
I was once before guys like freaking Crockett got out there.
Crockett
Accidentally dates a drug mule. Let's talk about how Crockett is connected to a woman who is smuggling heroin from South America all the time, to the point where it bursts open inside of her and she dies. And he's like, I'm going to get the scumbag who did this. I'm like, dude, I think half the problem just died with that burst condom in her body. Nice. She's not too cool. Like, this was your girlfriend, bro. And in New York, like, he homes in on like the worst woman in the world, and she's like moving keys of coke around, and like so many people die in service of what she's doing. He's like, you're a weird lady. If she was a dude, he would have like shot her like 6 times.
Yeah. Well, at least in the movie version, the Crockett we get definitely doesn't go for, questionable toxic chicks. Oh wait, never. Well. Never.
I started calling Crockett crackhead. I was like, crackhead thinks that this is a good idea. Oh boy.
But he's still cool. Come on, he can do all these terrible things. And he's still
the only cop I know that hugs homeless people.
To him. He's got this charm to him. But yeah, we'll move on now. I think that was RT's pick.
Yeah, Toxic's turn.
Toxic, yeah. You've already.
Go ahead and if you want to pull the slide up.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is wrong one. Nope.
Wrong one. I'll get on that soon.
Oh.
I love how that gun grows out of his jacket whenever he needs it. It just drops. It's like a transformer. It's like his ribs open up and the shotgun comes out.
I'll do it. Let me manage it. Let me get onto it.
You're going. Okay. Well, you're going too
back.
fast.
Back. Okay. Back. Lane.
Nope.
Stop. No.
You are Stop doing it. Stop. Stop it. Stop. Don't touch the console again. I will do it. Even though it's this is actually, I believe it's the season finale of season 2. It's something that TV shows really don't do well anymore. Movies even too, as well, if I'm being honest, is have villains that are recurring. And so the recurring Calderon comes back. They got a contract out on Tubbs, and the sister gets involved and lets Tubbs know, hey, you didn't pull out until your pullout game is weak, and you got me pregnant.
You didn't.
So now you got to deal with this fucking mess. So yeah, I think it's a great episode. I think it's a great season finale. It's one of the ones where Crockett gets to be the cool-headed person, which is pretty funny all the way around. And we get a payoff with, like I said, like a recurring villain that comes back. I think it's one of the better season finales in any kind of, well, shit, I'll just say any show.
I agree.
Any
top
show.
It's tragic. Tragic ending.
John Leguizamo is really fucking ruthless as well. When he's talking to one of the fucking dirty coppers, he's like, "We'll try our best." And he's like, "They shoot this fucking guy," and he's like, "Yeah, he tried his fucking best. Clean that up."
Is he Colombian, John Leguizamo? Because if not, he's culturally appropriating.
Puerto Rican, yeah.
Italian or Colombian.
Isn't he culturally appropriating Colombian culture?
Yeah.
Well, I am shocked. I'm very upset by that.
I think he's both. I think Northern English, but he's both. And I know he's from New York, and that's what's like, sister, I'm never going to worry about you again. And he's just got like that Bugs Bunny accent. But yeah, he was great. You know what? I could see him going on to, say, shoot Han Solo, maybe while he goes out for cigarettes.
Nice.
It was really.
He might even shoot Al Pacino someday.
He could aspire to shoot other great movie stars, but he may not be a great movie star himself. But
Admiral
I
Teag,
do like
you
what he did here.
just went up so many points in my cool book by referencing one of the early 90s mid Harrison Ford drama fucking bullshit movies. Really well done regarding Henry. Well played, sir. Well played.
Thank you. Well, yeah.
The central message of that film, If you want a lawyer to be a better person, shoot them in the head.
I think the central message was if you babysat Steven Spielberg's kids, you like J.J. Abrams can write a movie that has Harrison Ford in it. I blame that movie for the dawn of J.J. Abrams. Although when he was only a writer and didn't try to direct, that movie isn't so bad.
Yeah, but people like Alias though, and Alias isn't that terrible.
Alias, to be fair, Alias season 1 through 3 is pretty fucking good.
The arc of J.J. Abrams is long, but it bends towards severe mediocrity.
Damn, we are ruthless. We are really, really ruthless in this panel, and I'm here for it all day.
We watched like 160 people die by mid-season. We're all blooded up, man. I feel like I qualify for like pensions from the Miami-Dade Police Department after all I've seen. It's like, what happened? It's like when Tubbs just kept shooting that guy.
Yeah, he goes fucking brutal. He goes full on bloodthirsty. He's just like unloading onto his car.
He always has to change clips after any engagement. He just fires dry at everybody. It's like, like one bullet will do it. Like 13 will be better.
Yeah, well, he sold his fucking family out. He deserves to get fucking riddled with shotgun shells. But yeah,
this was the series finale, right?
This was the season.
I'm sorry, the season finale. Yeah, I thought it was really good. It had slight connectivity to the season opener. Some of the same players are mentioned. And again, I think the feds keep them from being able to totally pull the strings on this because the DEA is good, but the CIA, which is bad, might be mucking around in this one too, right?
Yeah, the CIA are always the fucking bad guys, though. They are. It's
great movie bad guys.
It's not a big glorious final either. I mean, it really ends on a fucking dark note. I mean, the woman of his child is killed, and his child is taken away, and
he doesn't know the child's alive. The assumption is the child is probably dead.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he gives the child about as much attention as most guys in that particular
He looks at it twice. That's pretty good for. I'll keep the joke to myself. That's a pretty. There's a pretty bad joke in the pipeline there, but I'll save that one for later.
Yeah, I short shucked mine because I remember that it's not my stream. It's Luke's stream, and he's trying to get monetized. So I kind of derailed my comment. But
yeah, it's I'll laugh if I get fucking monetized.
Wait, is he not monetized? He's gotten the super chat.
Yeah, with all the fucking copyright shit that's coming up on my videos over some bullshit reason, I'd laugh if I get monetized after I hit 1K. I would. But just go fucking nuts. I don't care. Go nuts.
Yeah,
no,
you say
no one wants to see a stream
you say that now, but then I get an angry voicemail from Mrs. Northern English Bastard. Oh, you fucking septic! Why are you messing up my husband's live streams? You dirty toxic septic! I won't have it.
You'll probably thank us. You'll probably.
Is your wife from London?
Yeah. Yeah, she's from Leeds. Yeah, for some reason you made a Cockney. I don't know why.
I open up a strange package from Hull, England one day, and it's got a potato in it that explodes.
Yeah, but it is a good final, though. I mean, fucking hell, not many shows end on the final this dark as well, and it does lead into a pretty fucking cool episode in season 3.
A great season finale, right? I'm a big season finale person with TV. That's my bread and butter. A great season finale can be done in such a way in which the series could conceivably keep going, not necessarily left on a cliffhanger, but leaving you just interested enough so that if the season finale has kind of could leapfrog into a following season, a follow-up season to whatever it is. And also, it could, at the same time, wrap up the show as it is. That's the beauty of a great season finale. In fact, I might do a show one time about great season finales and, how they, have either tied off the show as a series finale, or they are, something that sets up the next season. So that to me, in my mind, is what a good season finale really is. And I think this episode does that. I think it accomplishes it pretty well.
Yeah, it's also one of the few times we get to see a bit more focus on Tubbs, because have you kind of noticed that the Miami Vice TV series seems to lean a little bit more heavily on Crockett a bit more than Tubbs sometimes? It's
like 60-40. It's 60-40, and then every once in a while they throw you an episode where it's like 80-20 Tubbs, like goes heavy into the Tubbs. So like the voodoo one was all Tubbs. It's like, don't be shooting me up with them voodoo drugs. It's like, oh nope, there it goes.
I mean, to be fair, it is the 80s, and very obviously Don Johnson is the white guy. So, I mean,
this may have set up stuff like Lethal Weapon, though, where we do have like a more co-equal chocolate chip team, for whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think Lethal Weapon was one of the few times where we saw the black copper being the more straight-laced guy, while the white guy was the more younger, much more unhinged.
A hothead.
Well, yeah, this one too, right? Like the older black cop is Tubbs. He is definitely the better investigator, definitely the better detective.
Yeah, but
definitely
he's the junior. Yeah, but out of the two, he's the junior detective, though. So,
which makes no sense because he has formal training and was in another bigger, more like intense crime city police department.
Right, but it's New York, so no one gives a shit. So,
in the world of Miami Vice, I guess.
In the world of everything, it's not like you guys are doing really great out in New York or ever have. At least, I mean, I guess you guys did okay in 2001 up till like September-ish.
Jesus.
I had my friends die in that. I had my friends die in that, man.
You said cut loose, so I took off the.
You know what? I'm gonna cut loose back. Ready? As a citizen of New York City, I will thank you for your service in avenging those attacks. So you got a right to say it. Go ahead. May not make me feel that great to hear about it, but you know what?
No, I don't want to.
It was the worst day of my life, but a lot of people have been through a lot worse, and a lot of people went through a lot worse that day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, the thing about 9/11 is, it really shows you who you are as a person. Because I mean, you can tell how much of a piece of shit you are about how long after a disaster like that you hold off on masturbating. So I mean, it's basically like when there's a national tragedy like that, like if you can hold off wanking off for
for 2 or 3 hours, and
yeah.
sort of show the proper, let it sink in.
Yeah, that's respectful.
Yeah,
so that's much better than when I thought you were going.
Yeah,
oh my
well,
God.
I mean, me personally, I was cranking one out when the second tower fell. But I mean, that's.
I think I might have been too, to be honest with you, just by coincidence.
I thought I liked you. You're in my.
I was watching the news, right, and like I had told my boss to go
I
fuck
knew these
himself
two
the
would get
Friday
along.
before. I had a new job set up, right? So I had a week off, and I was like, "This could be great." So I got wasted and watched Monday Night Football, and both of my phones start ringing off the hook. And I walk inside and like, "What's the matter with you people?" And I don't answer either my phones or open on my turn on my answer machine yet. I'm like, "It's my girlfriend, and it's my why is everyone calling me?" And I see on the news like a helicopter seems to have crashed into the World Trade Center. I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." And I took a shower and did whatever else. And like an hour later, it was like, "There's one building left." Like, wait, what the fuck happened in like the hour that I went back to sleep, showered, and shaved?
Yeah.
That was my 9/11 experience. But I was able to get to a point where I did have line of sight on it. So of the second tower. And
I was
and
actually at my first
other
duty
stuff.
station in Kansas, and I picked prison guard as my job because I didn't want to get in any kind of serious bullshit. And next thing I know, that morning, where I'm supposed to be going to training, to on the job training, I'm getting my uniform on, and everybody's running around in the barracks and the halls like it's fucking Starship Troopers after the meteor hit. We're going to war, and I was like, oh shit, damn it.
That was a crazy day. I was glad that I wasn't closer, but when I went to the hospital to donate blood, and they're like, they don't need me. I'm like, wait, that would mean that nobody was. Oh shit! And like, yeah, either you're okay or you didn't make it. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that's when it hit me.
Yeah, it hit a lot of other people too.
Just gonna say, you don't get this on open bar.
No, you ain't gonna get. We go hard and deep. We go hard and deep on the bastards breakdowns. We're gonna
Friday night tights. Forget about it.
The copyright clowns and the fucking people that put you up to do fucking essays on hate speech or whatever the bullshit they put blue collar on there last time. Come on, let's just have fucking fun on YouTube. And I think I might have already mentioned my views. I've done all my 5 episodes. Is there anything that any episodes?
I did all 5 of mine.
Yeah, all done.
I've got one more.
One more, yeah. Let's do yours.
I do. And it is the penultimate episode of this season. Trust Fund Pirates.
Love that term. I love that term.
Trust Fund Pirates.
Oh, okay.
Rich kids go. Well, I mean, talk about body count. It opens up with those rich kids absolutely massacring people on that boat. I mean, if we should have like a counter of boats that get shot up during this show, because I mean, it starts with the rich kids impersonating the Coast Guard and machine gunning a boat full of drug dealers. And of course, that's the plot. It's got a very young Gary Cole in it. Like he's sort of the special guest star. I can't remember. And Tommy Chong makes a brief appearance too. It's got the pirate radio stays, Richard Belzer, before whatever he was on, Law and Order, with the pirate radio station. Right. So there's 2 sets of pirates in this story. And the twist is the girl, of course, is really, really bad news. And there's a great final shootout. Yeah, Gary Cole, almost unrecognizable in this. He's quite young. But there's a final shootout, which is just bananas, where Crockett judo flips a guy over his shoulder off the marina, and Gary Cole shoots a guy with a flare gun at close range. And there's that bit at the end where the plane's taken off and the radio station's playing the pirate music, and he says, "Oh, hopefully you're lying in the pool," and it cuts to the shot of the guy's corpse, floating in the pool. So this one was equal parts action and sort of almost comedy, but it was a gritty and quite dark, but a fun episode, right? And I think it was a nice lead up to the final episode. And they let Gary Cole go at the end. Like they set him up, that he's a sort of a former drug pilot, and now he's trying to quit the life, and they give him some credit for that. So yeah, it's a fun episode. I really enjoyed it. I can't say enough good things about it. It's not really a deep or intensely character driven or plot driven or whatever. It's just an episode you can put on, turn your brain off a bit, and just enjoy.
Nice.
Yeah, sometimes you just need this as well. I mean, not every episode needs to be dark or fucking depressing, you know.
Can we just appreciate the fact that this adhered to the 22 episode season, you know, as opposed to now where they give us these little crumbs of like 8 or 9 episodes in a season, and then we don't see the fucking show for 3 more years or some crazy shit like that. Like,
they try to weave a 16 episode plot
right
on the fly.
But then it's like it's not even so much the lack of episodes, although that's part of it. It's the fact I went off on this on a stream I did recently, I think with Nadia, talking about Stranger Things. It's this huge gap in time between between seasons on a TV show. And yeah, they can sit there and talk about pandemics and national tragedies and writer strikes, but that shit happened then. We had fucking wars going on and all kinds of shit going on in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, and we didn't wait 3 more I mean, if Miami Vice had adhered to the standard of what shows are doing now, we'd have fucking fat old Don Johnson from Django Unchained, in season 7 or something like that. I mean, it's crazy to think that we had so much we were so spoiled back in the days with 22 episode seasons.
Well, don't worry, Don Johnson's coming to streaming, so we'll get to see him upset us with like an 8 episode season that makes no sense.
Right.
He is actually. I have hopes for the show, though. It's a Taylor Sheridan show, so it might be all right.
What is he in one of the Yellowstone sequels or prequels?
There's going to be a Yellowstone sequel called The Madison that seems to include him, or he might be in 1944. It's not clear yet. Or I'm not clear on it yet. I'm also not clear on the ending of 1923, but that's a whole other story.
Yeah. Well, you should join me sometime when I'm bitching about Taylor Sheridan. I do it a lot.
You should come on my show to help me bitch about him. I have problems with him, and it seems like we're in the same time zone. I really like his stuff, though. I have a lot of passion
I still
for it.
need to watch Yellowstone and fucking...
He wrote a part for himself in Yellowstone, so he can come on and talk about how Roadhouse is the greatest movie ever made, so... He's still got my respect.
Like that. When that scene happened, the first thing I thought of was you. I was like, that's something RT would fucking... It's like, I just want to riff about how Roadhouse is the greatest movie ever made. Let me just write a quick... Let me write myself into the show. Just so that I can do that.
Next time we see him, he talks about how Wind River is the greatest movie ever made because it's the Taylor Sheridan's movie, right?
Yeah.
I really think that the best way to watch those shows, by the way, if you're going to check them out in Northern English, is it would be spoilerish to watch them in the episode they're released. You need to watch them in chronological order and don't look at a map.
And then go from 1923 and then probably the World War II one, I'm guessing, 1940.
That one's coming still.
Yeah, Admiral Teag, I gave the exact same advice on my
Taylor it's too spoilerish because they reveal the fates of a bunch of characters in a flashback, and what happens is there was never supposed to be an 1883. Like, what happens is negotiations with Kevin Costner reach infuriating levels, which ends Yellowstone in a lackluster way and has them all at odds and doesn't provide the best working environment. Taylor Sheridan starts to freaking hate him. So what happened was throughout the show, without ever thinking about it, every once in a while I'd be like, well, this is a real crisis, John Dutton. And Kevin Costner would be like, my granddaddy came to this valley in 1883. And it's like, wait, what? Where are they going with this? And then he would tell some great granddad story and we'd be like, okay, whatever. And he would go kill a few people and it'd be like, oh, well, whatever. So Taylor Sheridan had to cobble all of those together. And that's what 1883 is all the granddad tales.
Do you know what we need now from Taylor Sheridan? It's Landman 1979.
I would watch that show. I love Landman. I wish that they would give Taylor... he's already with Paramount. Why don't we give Taylor Sheridan Star Trek?
We're going off the rails. Get him, Luke.
Yeah, we've already talked about all our episodes now, so yeah.
Are we free range?
Yeah, we were done. I thought we were free. I thought we were free ranging it.
Have you done yours already? All yours.
I got through mine. Mine just in order were number 1 was the Prodigal Son 1 and 2, but that's one story, so I counted it as one. Where the buses don't run was number 2 for all the reasons, including the stuff like the fraternity between the policemen, that bad policemen did it for essentially good reasons, that the job grinds on you and makes you crazy. I saw the effects of the job on my father. It's not like, exactly like being a crossing guard. It can be pretty brutal. Whatever works, and Tail the Goat. Hey, voodoo's real, guys. I mean, learn some voodoo. You can defeat Miami Vice, or at least the South Beach Police Department. And Little Miss Dangerous, Psycho Hooker, Pop Star Fiona. It was interesting. It was dark and psychological, and we had fun with the street people in that one, or whatever you want to call them, the unhoused. I don't want to get anyone in trouble here. The unhoused people who were living on their own, the fucking hobos. Well, that one lady who was living in the street was here's a statistic. Florida's always had a lot of crime. When I lived in Orlando, it was years ago now, but it was number one in like homeless people, and so you just saw a lot of homeless people everywhere. So it was kind of cinema verite to a point to have, or at least cinema like realistic, to have these homeless people be there and be people, not props. They didn't walk past them and step over them. They like his conversation with the homeless lady is charming. He's cool. He's like that's like one of the best Crockett moments where I don't hate him for being a pretty boy jerk.
Right. I mean, that's the best part about dating a homeless chick. You can drop them off anywhere.
She's already there.
Yeah, so it looks like we have gone through all the episodes, and in less than 3 hours. So, fucking hell,
you know what?
Efficiency.
This was a great season. The top 5 was presented itself though. Like there was a real log jam. I think there was 3 that had to be in everyone's top 5.
I think it kind of worked. Yeah, it kind of worked out that way with like Bushido and the buses don't run and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually surprised though, a couple of them that were mine that didn't show up on anyone else's. But at the same time, I mean, everybody's got different tastes, and with a season like this, sophomore seasons are either going to make or break your series. So like if your season 2 sucks, you can have a shitty season 1. I'm looking at you, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You can have a shitty season 1, and then your season 2 comes in like a banger, and you've just locked it in. Your sophomore season really tells you what the longevity of your show is going to be, I think. And I feel that season 2 of this came out swinging, and a lot of the issues that season 1 had, they kind of ironed them out by this. And I feel like after this season, it was really smooth sailing all the way up until the excellent series finale that they had.
It seems to be a lot with the first seasons for a lot of shows, because they've got something written down, they've got an idea, but when they see it on screen, it's not always the thing. But now they have the second season, they know where they went wrong and try and correct it. So, and season 2 definitely did that as well.
They definitely leaned into like our star's a petulant jerk. Let's like bring that out in a. Crockett has so many meltdowns and yells at everybody the whole time, and it's just the only problem I have with the show as a whole is that, and it's a fun show and it's a great show, and there was just everything that was like 80s sort of distilled down, but at the same time like just like unaware pretty boy in the white linen MC jacket and and what do you call it, pink pants. Going around like, you listen to me, you bum, and like beating guys up and being Mr. Two-Fisted Bad Guy. It's like, thank God we had Tubbs to like, while you were beating up the people and shooting at them, I got some clues.
While you were killing that 53 people you did this season.
It suffered from a little bit of what we would call, if you remember the show, Quincy disorder, where Quincy was never in the lab, and you'd come back and be like, Sam, what happened? It's like, I solved the case. It's like, cool. And he'd be like, well, I've solved the case. It was El DeBarge and Simon Le Bon out there fighting crime.
Yeah. So I think that might be the end of our show. I don't know if we can establish anything else at the moment. Is there anything else people our panelists want to elaborate on before I wrap this up?
Just some shameless plugs, really. I mean,
let's do plugs. Okay, from top to bottom. Toxic, what have you got that you've just recently
well, my friend, I'm recently linked up with our friend of the channel, Miss Sparkles, and she and I will be talking about a couple different topics, not the least of which the movies that have been coming out in the last couple weeks that have been making April seem like, a renaissance in 2025. I recently, just earlier today, did my review of Sinners, the new Ryan Coogler 1930 set vampire film starring Michael B. Jordan. and that is out now. You can watch it on my channel. Beyond that, I will be doing a couple other things this weekend. I think we've got something with the Outcast Creative tomorrow with Lance, which you will be joining me on. I'm pretty sure. And again,
he's not talking to Shield, is he? Season 3.
You know what? I don't want to lie because I don't know. I don't know if he's kind of put it a little bit, and we're moving away from that onto another series, or we are getting back into the Shield. I'm not 100% sure, so don't let me lie to you on that topic.
Yeah, I'll talk to Lance about that anyway, because he hasn't really mentioned anything to me, and knowing him, he probably might have forgotten because he's always so busy. So yeah, we'll see.
If you have not already, if you want to help out my channel, my cause, my writing, and most importantly, my car, which I've just recently wrecked, if you would be so kind as to look up Slapdash, it is available on Amazon. But more importantly, if you contact me personally, I will sign it for you of a personal nature. You'll be in my acknowledgments in the next book in the series called Gold Brick, and you will get a preview of said book that most other people are not privy to. Either way, if you'll take a look at that, it's the story of James McCulley, a former military intelligence officer who, after making some poor choices, goes to prison and gets embroiled in a war between the Dirty White Boys in the Midwest and the Kansas City mob. That is available now on Amazon, and more importantly, it is available through me if you would like me to ship you a copy. If you are in the United States, I must caveat, because sending it overseas would be extremely expensive.
Yeah, thanks for that, Toxic. And yeah, I'll try and post your link in the description if I can.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, it's there. Here it is. I'm going to have to try and make you a mod on this channel. That way you can actually get the link up a bit more properly. So yeah, anyone else, you probably might have to copy this if you're able to and paste it. I don't know if that's possible.
Or just Google Slapdash in Amazon. You'll find it. It's only one. It's only two different name titles in Amazon.
Okay. So Admiral Teag, anything you want to plug?
Aside from Kate Beckinsale.
Nice.
In just 2 hours and 45 minutes, we will be setting sail to the final frontier, where people can meet me for a watch party of Star Trek Enterprise. There might be a way to watch the episode, and there'll be analysis with me, my co-host Sean Carter, and JT Kirk. You're all invited to join me on the Final Frontier. I also cover Taylor Sheridan shows like 1923 and 1883 and probably the Madison and probably 1944. And I do the usual pop culture beat of the MCU, the DC stuff, Star Wars, and my big thing, of course, Star Trek. And you can catch me on my channel. I threw it in the private chat. If you could throw it in the regular chat, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
but
I put it in the link now.
I am the only. Thank you so much. I am the only Admiral Teag, though. I'm at Saving Star Trek is my handle for YouTube, but I'm the only Admiral Teag. So if you Google Admiral Teag, you'll find me. I'm the one with 2,400 subs. The one with like 15 subs, that's my other channel. I took it and took the name so no one else could, because my name is Admiral Teag, but my show is Saving Star Trek on Saturdays. So I wanted to protect my brand, so to speak. If I can't have it, no one can. But please follow me if you want. And, the usual stuff. I got video essays and the works. You'll love it. And if you don't like my channel, you can just quit.
Nice. Because we don't want people on our channels that aren't going to enjoy our stuff, do we? We want people to enjoy what we're putting out. That's the whole point of this. So, yeah, cheers for that, Admiral Teag. RT, is there anything you want to plug?
Well, not really. I'm not really a YouTuber per se. I just sort of show up on these streams by mistake usually and say some random
Saturdays
stuff
in a row. This is 2 Saturdays in a row for you and me.
Yeah. It's been really nice, actually. It's nice to catch up with you all. Just want to say thanks to Luke for having us on. Thanks to the other panel members for all their insights, and just celebrating this amazing show, a cultural phenomenon. And thanks to the chat for being there. I see some names I recognize, like Brian and Melvin, some other people. It's it's been really nice. So all the best, and I hope everyone has a great week.
Nice.
Yeah, cheers, RT. Okay,
The great RTNZ, been one of our biggest supporters from day one.
I know, one of our biggest super chatters, and yeah, cheers for the super chat, Mr. Reed.
Also helped me come up with some splendid possible titles for my books. None of which were used, but all of which are very hilarious.
Yeah, we'll try and do that later. Okay, so yeah, Melvin Deeply, thanks for joining us.
Mr. President.
Yep.
President Trump.
Trump Daddy, yes, how can I forget? Box Office Brawler, cheers. Who else? David Vest, thanks for joining us. Melvin Deeply, I think I already mentioned him.
I think
Mr.
you might want to look down at the bottom of that chat.
Yep, and John the Beagle Dad.
Yeah. All the best, John.
Yep.
Super sticker from Admiral Teag. Wow, nice.
I know. Yeah, cheers for that.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Anything else? Okay, yeah, and thanks for joining us, Admiral Teag, and hopefully we'll get you on again for a Red Dwarf or any other that's coming up.
I did all the research. That was the show I watched more of. I watched so much Red Dwarf. That show is great.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. I mean, it goes off a little bit after season 7, but the stuff before that, though, is fucking brilliant. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone. And whether you beautiful bastards are Northern English or not, thanks for watching. And do remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and to ring that bell in order to be notified. And please do the same for my guests. And also, if you want to better support this channel, links will be in the description below. But right now, that's us done, and we are off to the pub. Thank you, and enjoy your Easter.
Can I have spuds, please?
Spuds! Good choice. George's song. Listen very carefully, the question comes straight after.
Baked potato changed my life. Baked potato showed me the way. If you want to know what is wrong from right, you must listen to what potatoes say.
Don't be good, don't be bad.
Baked potato.
Don't be happy, don't be sad.
Thank you, baked potato. And if you want to have a better day, you must listen to what the baked potatoes say.
Don't be early, don't be late.
Thank you, baked potato.
Always eat what's on your plate.
Thank you, baked potato. And if you want to have a better day, you must listen to what